Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to you on this last Saturday in the month of August of 2025 to the I'm usually moving this way, the 997th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable and wonderful wife, who's there on the drums and with any other noises that require noisifying. And all of you out there in Podcastio land, I'm sorry, I do have, we're bringing back, and I know you don't want to be here for this, but we are bringing back a fairly recent segment that I do love and enjoy, ladies and gentlemen, apart from all the other segments. We have an interview today. We've got the Greeley stuff with the phone call. We got it. But it's been a while since we have done My Old Phlegm on Dave's Gone By. Mainly because maybe the season changed, and even though I'm 61 years old and now an older Jewish man, I haven't been hocking up or creating as much overnight phlegm as I usually do. You know, my lungs have been cleared, or I get it out of the way, or some days I've just been waking up at 4:35 in the morning and not being able to go back to sleep. So I have my coffee and start doing some stuff, and it just doesn't materialize. It breaks up somewhere in my trachea or bronchi. And also, my wife read somewhere that eating kumquats is a really good way of breaking up the phlegm and the guch that builds up in you. 10. And so here is when we actually bought a little package of kumquats. If you've never seen a kumquat, because if you're not in California, you probably don't know what these are. It's like if an orange was part of a nuclear disaster and this is what was left. And literally, if you took an orange and you shrunk it, kept the same peel, and made the insides more tart, still a little bit sweet, but tasting like an orange, that's what a kumquat would be. It's like a desiccated orange that's rather bitter, because if you try to peel this thing and just eat what's inside, you have a drop of liquid. But supposedly, if you eat this, it's healthy. You've got fiber, plus the acidicness, the acidity within the kumquat apparently goes in and breaks up the ich, kind of like salt water if you gargle and stuff. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to have this kumquat to cut the coughing and the phlegm that you're hearing. Here we go. You'll see by the expression on my face just how much I love these things. There we go. First squirt is pretty good. And then you get the bitter. You'll get the tart. And, nothing against God, but when he made the kumquat, he made this tiny little thing, and you should be able to pop in your mouth and chew. Why on earth will he still keep the pits? We've managed to develop grapes, right? When I was growing up, and you had grapes. Grapes are delicious. I always loved grapes. But I don't know if you remember this, if you're my age. You would go to the supermarket, and grapes would have seeds in them. Oh, I don't finish that. It would take forever to chew. I told you I was chewish. Gewalt. Getting the juice there. Another seed. Another seed coming. There it goes. Okay. So, this was a mono-seeded kumquat. Just this one little one here. But do you remember this? You have to go.
I reposted Chip.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's great. So we have our guest coming up, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit.
I reposted him. He pre-posted. I reposted.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, that was cool of him. So, if you wanted to enjoy grapes, you got a bunch of grapes. And what you would have to do is you put them in your mouth, and you couldn't just eat a grape, right? You had to bite it, kind of chew on it, and then dig these tiny little grape seeds out of it in order to eat and enjoy this fruit. So it kind of ruined the experience because you didn't want to swallow the grape seeds. But then if you didn't swallow the grapes, you had to go and there was mush all over your fingers, and it ruined the experience of grapes. I don't know how people cooked with them, with all that stuff in it. So the farmers, I don't know if it was Monsanto or whoever, or who are the geniuses who were grafting plants and stuff like that, they figured out, you know what? We can grow seedless grapes. And not just the green ones, which are the best, but the red, the black, we can make grapes without seeds. Which does make me beg the question, if grapes can grow without seeds, and you can probably answer this, how the hell do they grow? If grapes aren't making the seeds that make them reproduce, when a grape plant, a vine, I'm tired, folks.
How can grapes grow without seeds as seedless grapes?
I mean, it must be cuttings or something like that. Seedless grapes grow without seeds due to a genetic mutation called stenosperm. Oh. No wonder grapes are related to kumquats. You got spermocarpy, stenospermocarpy, and then kumquats. Obviously related there, which causes the seeds to abort before they fully develop. Even though the flowers were pollinated, science was not my strong suit, but this thing, how do they do it? Only you would figure, how does any fruit reproduce? Like, not every one is eaten, one drops to the floor, the bird starts pecking it open, and then the seeds go into the ground, and those seeds turn into new plants. Suddenly you have the ability to grow things that don't have seeds at all. And yet, we're very, very lucky because now you can eat a grape. You can eat grapes like M&Ms. They're fantastic. Why, and I ask you this, scientists who are watching, why can't we do that with kumquats?
Bougie. You're so bougie. You're so bougie.
Yeah, I admit I'm a lucky kind of person that I even have ever tasted a kumquat, let alone can go to Wegmans and buy a small box of them. But why is it that they can't develop this little baby fruit so that it's miserable enough to chew anyway because you're chewing orange rind? Do I have to then go in there and find a seed and pull that out too? So I know I'm already in complainy Dave mode, as I tend to be. But supposedly, allegedly, and it seems to be working okay, if you have a kumquat in the morning, it'll break up the stuff and keep me from sounding like an 80-year-old man. And the nurse will go, coughing on everything and leaving traces of goo all over, like the bag in the bathroom and the nightstand and so forth. However, because I waited this morning to eat my kumquat in front of you, that sounds so wrong, doesn't it? Because I wanted to show you the consumption of a kumquat on this very program, Dave's Gone By. I didn't, and I've been up for a few hours, I did not have the release, the dissolution, the dissolving of my phlegm. So I thought I would bring back the old segment that we've been doing, well, probably for a year or two, called My Old Phlegm, which I think it began accidentally. I think what happened was because I do the show Saturday mornings, 9 a.m., right? And I was trying to talk and get something out, coughed. I did not realize that my cough would be expectorant, or maybe I was getting over a cold. And literally, phlegm flew out of my mouth. I caught it. I was like, while I was doing the show live. And, I'm an opportunist in any given situation, circumstance. So I said, all right, let's make something out of this. Because I've got 3 hours to kill on this show. So anything that pops up that I can try and make interesting or comedic, I will. So I looked at the phlegm, and wrongly or right, I think the first time I looked at it, described it to you guys, and then tried to read it like tea leaves. In later episodes, and much to my wife's chagrin, I would actually show you physically my gob of phlegm, and then we can all see it together because it's a little tough to describe. So this morning, about half an hour before I went on camera here, I did cough up a little bit of expectorant phlegm, and I saved it for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, my wife is literally turning to face the wall. My old phlegm. So the idea is first to share it with you and then to read it, to discover what the hidden message is in the bottom of this paper towel when I have a piece of phlegm. So here it is. Good morning, folks. Are you having breakfast? So this is my my phlegm for this morning, August 30th. What does it look like? At first I thought it looked like one of the states in the Midwest or the Upper South. It kind of has a Missouri look. It may be turned around in the opposite way because now I'm seeing a mirror image. And to me, when I look at it this way, the bigger part is over here. It may be on the other side for you. But now I'm seeing this is a foot. This absolutely looks like a foot. You can see the insole there going down to the heel. Kind of looks like it has toes on top. And so what does foot phlegm represent in my old phlegm? Let me do some divination here. That is the divination music I'm going to do. I probably have to get some or download some proper music for my old phlegm. So if your phlegm resembles a foot, I should write a book of these. It means that you need to remember to stay grounded this week. It means you need to keep both feet, or at least one foot, on the floor, on the ground, on the carpet, and center yourself and be like firmly planted. Look how firm that phlegm is on the paper towel. It's not tripping. It's not. It's not running. It's just how many viewers have I lost already? It's not going anywhere. It's a pretty impressive piece of phlegm. If I hold it this way, you can even sort of can you see it? So I don't know. I've tried turning this over in other different directions and not really seeing much. This way it looks a little like Alfred Hitchcock. So kind of avoid taking showers in strange hotel rooms, or maybe it looks like a perfume bottle or a pawn in a chess game. No, I'm still gonna go with foot. Definitely a foot. So we have fun things afoot on this episode of the Dave's Gone By Show. It's okay, hon, you can turn around. I've finished displaying my gastric juices for the world. They're not gastric, they're just throatric. What would they call those? Tracheic. The whole show is not this, but it's close to this, but it's not just this, my friends, here on Dave's Gone By. Yes, one of the things we also do on the program is a segment called Greeley Times. Excuse me, and this is where phone calls come into the police department in northern Colorado, where my wife and I used to live for a little over a decade. And I'm not making these things up. The local newspaper, the Greeley Tribune, a real newspaper that still exists and has for more than 100 years, does a weekly column called Cop Log. And in column, get my eyes over that, in Cop Log, they collect the police blotter, the phone calls that come into the dispatcher. They remove the identifying things of exactly where something happened and names, but then they write in the funniest, most ridiculous things that people are calling the police about to have investigated. Well, we take the funniest ones of those and create our weekly segment called Greeley Times here on Dave's Gone By. Speaking of Colorado, also because my wife and I lived in Colorado, for no good reason, I never have a good reason for these things, I decided to write poems about as many places in the state as I possibly could think of, whether big places like Vail and Fort Collins and Greeley, and to the tiniest little unincorporated communities, as long as I could do a limerick where I could rhyme the name of the place 3 times. First 2 lines with the last line, and then the 2 in the middle rhyme with each other, the classic Edward Learyian Nantuckety limerick. and I've been doing this now for years. I have more than 300 of them. And my greatest source of both pride and shame is that they're supposed to be funny, and they're also, because I call them Colorado limericks of the damned, they're supposed to be vile and disgusting and evil and sick and funny, but evil and sick. And I most weeks I think I do accomplish that much. And we have, yes, a brand new Colorado limerick of the damned this particular week, this Saturday, August 30th. This week we go to Calumet, Colorado. I got some work ahead of me rhyming that. Calumet, Colorado. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the place, and then, usually towards the end of the show, let you know our Colorado limerick of the damned. So we got Greeley Times, we got the Colorado limerick. We may do Bunion Watch, depending on the size and condition of my bunions this week, because I do like to share that with you too. And this week we're going to do Dave's Big Dictionary again. For a few weeks we've been doing story time. I wanted a break with that. I want to do something called Dave's Big Dictionary. And it has to do with finding a word at random. And then, my wife is getting it on the phone right now. That's Maryland State Fair.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about, we can go, but
You want the word of the day?
the word of the day from Merriam-Webster. They've started doing
What is the word
legwork
of the
for
day from Merriam-Webster Dictionary?
Yeah. So whatever this word is,
Oh, wow.
I'm going to have to talk about it for 5 minutes extemporaneously later in the show. So let's see today's Merriam-Webster word.
Wait.
Not bad. Not bad at all. And again, this is completely, we didn't know this until 5 seconds ago.
Just now.
My wife just checked for the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Their word of the day is protocol. Cool word. Protocol, what it means, the system of rules explaining correct conduct and procedures to be followed in a formal situation. I have much to talk about. I wasn't really going to talk about that on the show, so I can't. I know. But, do I have stories about protocol for this week? The tiny violin was going. Hold on, here it goes. My friends, if I could tell you the story of the lack of protocol this week. Isn't that? Actually, I should be sawing this thing. I know. There we go. Anywho, so I wonder if this is how Gesundheit. Oh. How did you sneeze and press that at the same time? You just went, yeah.
And I just broke my neck.
I wonder if violinists masturbate like. Just occurred to me. And cellists. Anywho, it's just these things that come into my head. But protocol. So that's sort of a challenge that I gave myself years ago, especially when this show used to be often scripted. A lot of Dave's Gone By, especially when it was a shorter program just on radio, I would script out most of the segments and just leave some openings for interstitial extemporaneous comment. Now, all of this, as you can easily tell, very, very little of this show is scripted now. So, but I did leave the room open to say, you know what? Dave, you think you're clever, you think you're funny, you think you're good on your feet or on your seat. Here's a word, and you just got this word. You got this word an hour earlier. Now, think of whatever comes into your head, whether it's directly related or tangentially related. Talk about it and go. So I've been doing that, and I've had a lot of fun with it. And most times, not all, I'm pretty successful in coming up with something reasonably interesting, an anecdote or a thought, or following a train of thoughts. So our word of the day for what the segment we call Dave's Big Dictionary will be protocol. Got all that happening on this episode of the show. And one more, most important thing, we have a guest in the Daverhood, as we showed you on the phone before. Guy I've known for 30-something years because I've been a theater critic started as a theater critic in the late 1980s and wrote for Backstage and places that don't exist anymore, like Show Business and Theater Week and Long Island Examiner and my own thing, This Week on Stage, This Month on Stage. All these publications gone to the great repository of journalism in the sky. And I still sometimes write reviews for Total Theater, or I do reviews on this show when I go see productions on or off Broadway. And sometimes I would attend cabaret too. That was something that was, I admit, lesser in my time frame and in my comfort zone. I enjoyed going to cabaret, but it wasn't my first thing, especially since I had only a limited amount of time and resources and ability to get from place to place. And you know how cabarets are in New York. They start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There's a show. There's another at 5:30. There's another at 7 on one night. And if you're trying to review Broadway and off Broadway, you're just not going to be able to see much. But I did see a bunch of things. And through those circles, and through, I guess, being a member of the Drama Desk and the Outer Critics Circle, I met a really cool guy named Chip Deffaa. Chip Deffaa. And Chip, he used to write, he wrote about theater and cabaret, and I think also jazz. Oh, here's my phone.
I'll find it.
For the New York Post. Was it the Post? I'm pretty sure it was.
I'm concerned about the questions. I'll ask him.
Oh, he wrote me? Well,
But people are writing in the comments, and he was.
yeah, Chip has a bit of a following. So when he said,
has 6,000 people or more plus.
Mazel
More
tov.
people, but he wrote.
Yeah.
I'll show you that.
Yeah. He is the former New York Post cabaret, jazz, and theater critic. Also, since he has such a great love for the American songbook, especially the early folks like Irving Berlin and George M. Cohan and the Gershwins, he has produced more than 40. You may not know this word, kids, but CDs. All right. Here's some of his précis. More than 40 cabaret CDs, including more than a dozen devoted to the music of George M. Cohan. He's a real expert in that, to the point where, it's funny. It says click see more. Nobody here named Seymour. So, says Chip, he has worked as a writer, director, and producer. He's a Princeton grad. Is that Ivy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yay. What else about him? Oh, this is his Facebook stuff. So, loves jazz and theater. He's written 8 published books. He's also published plays. He is, on some level, in terms of theater and theater music and cabaret music, a Renaissance man. And maybe you best know him for the success that he had of a show called George M. Cohan Tonight. Wait, thank you.
That's his website if you need it.
Oh, okay. Song and Dance Kids. Wait.
Well, if you need anything.
Here we go. He's an ASCAP award winner. I did not know that. And he has all these.
It's official website. It's not fake.
Oh yeah. This is Chip
Do you want
Deffaa.
me to make you a tea or coffee?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
What do you want?
Not coffee, because coffee
Make you tea.
I'll get more phlegm. Yeah.
Some tea. Do you want? Oh, you don't mind what it is? Okay. Okay.
So yeah, no, don't use your special.
No, I know, but I'm gonna make you a good tea.
Thank you, Ben. So Chip has written musicals about Fanny Brice, Irving Berlin. I think he did a Merman thing, but mainly this George M. Cohan show, George M. Cohan Tonight, is this big hit. It's being done lots of places, including off Broadway. He's got a CD out. They made a movie of it, an award-winning film of the George M. Cohan film. He won a New Jersey Press. Okay, a lot of things this man is doing. Not to mention, he is the editor-at-large of a long-running theater review and theater information website called theaterscene.net. So we're very excited to have Chip Deffaa joining us in the Daverhood in probably about a half hour or so. About a half hour, talking with the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon. Now, Rabbi Sol, speaking of theater, speaking of music, he did a musical, about 12, 13 years ago, off Broadway at the Richmond Shepherd Theater and at the Roy Arias Theater, called Shalom, Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Sol Solomon. And it was all about, and this was really brought home to me about a week ago when I saw Jeff Ross on Broadway and take a banana for the ride. Because the first 10, 15 minutes of Ross's show, I'm not saying he stole it. I'm not saying he watched the Rabbi Sol show and was taking notes. But my gosh, the things that he was doing, some of the jokes he was making are right out of what Rabbi Sol was doing, 12 years ago on those stages. And if you don't believe me, and if you've seen the Jeff Ross show, which is worth seeing over at the Niederlander Theater on Broadway, just go to Rabbi Sol's website, shalomdammit.com, click on the link for Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Sol Solomon, and watch the show, or watch parts of the show. And you'll see, oh my God, he was saying these things, and he's going a lot deeper and darker, at least into Jewish culture, than Jeff Ross does. Ross is more personal. Ross, his show is really even less about comedy and Judaism and telling jokes and stand-up and being a roast master than it is about all these members of his family and his pets dying, which makes it a touching show, but not quite what to expect. Rabbi Sol is what to expect. He tells a lot of jokes. They're deep jokes. They're dark jokes. And he rails against anybody who comes at Israel or Jews. So if you want that, and God knows I want that, go watch Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Sol Solomon, because I would love to bring that back to New York and to any other place that would have it, and that would have Rabbi Sol Solomon. So Rabbi Sol appears on this program almost every week. Sometimes he does a rabbinical reflection, a kind of mini sermon about life in these here United States in modern times and the Jewish connection to it. Sometimes he's here, most times he's here to do the interviews on this program. So it will be Rabbi Sol doing the honors, interviewing Chip Deffaa on this fine, fine episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream. Which, by the way, I guess I should give you this information while my lovely wife is running to brew me a pot of tea so that I don't make more of these. How's this holding up? We can also keep tabs on my phlegm as the morning wears on. Still looking good. Still, the footprint has not shrunk by any great length or dimension at this moment. So, but if you want to understand the gestalt of this program, because I know some of you are just tuning in for the very first time for Chip Deffaa, and you're going, what? And he's been doing this since 2002? Yes, I have, ladies and gentlemen. I really, really have. We started back in October of 2002 doing Dave's Gone By on terrestrial radio once a week, and then moved to college radio for a bit, online radio, and then in the past 6 or 7 years, we've been video podcasting the program. But whether you want to hear what I sounded like and what we were talking about back in 2002, 3, 4, 5, or 13, 14, and 15, or 20, good God, I've been on so long, or 21, 22, 23 through 25, it's all there. We have saved the archives as best we could. So thousands, literally thousands of hours of this program are available for free at the website. I'm glad she's making the tea. davesgoneby.com. davesgoneby.com. And so if you are tuning in for Chip Deffaa, then you're probably going to want to check out interviews that have been on this program over the years with a lot of cabaret people. A lot of notables that Chip has worked with or known to. They've been guests on this show. People like Carol Channing and Linda Lavin. Well, to know two dead people. But the very much alive Jason Gra and Katie Huffman and Stuart Ross and Carolyn Montgomery. And, you name a lot of the leading lights of cabaret. They have been on this show discussing their art, discussing their music, what makes them tick, what songs they grew up loving. The questions you want to hear from someone who tries to make their life, or at least a part-time life, singing in a place in front of people, in a cozy if you will, whether it was the late lamented Metropolitan Room or the Duplex or 88 or, it wasn't called Mama Rose, it was Rose's Turn for those of us who were sort of cabaret people, right? Or Rainbow and Stars, if you remember that place. I think it came back, actually. The Carlisle, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Ooh, hot tea, thank you very much. Coming through. Oh, lovely, thank you. So, all of these things are at davesgoneby.com. And, if my website happens to be down, we also have archives at archive.org. We have a channel there. Just look for Dave's Gone By, and every interview, every show we've done is there too. I'd better get the goat phone because it's time for... yeah. Oh, here you go. I haven't, well, let me play, because that is definitely the signal that we are beginning the segment for Greeley Times on Dave's Gone By. Oh, gosh. They're probably on a shelf there.
Oh, yeah. Greeley is a wonderful city located in northern Colorado. 49 miles northeast of Denver. Oh, yeah. It's such a great city. I love to go to Greeley. I love Greeley City Hall.
Yeah. By the way, let's understand that that is not me singing. That is the guy who sings about cities, singing about Greeley, Colorado. Let's first of all, let's do some sloth tossing before. Here's a sloth. The idea is that he's supposed to stick to the wall. He might, and then crawl slowly down it. Go sloth! I don't know if he made it. This one maybe not so much. I'm gonna fling him harder. No, I ain't gonna. Oh, hold on. Okay, I gotta get these off. Hold on. Whoa, I just have no coordination. I think I'm too tired today. But let me try it. Here's another sloth. We're gonna hit the wall with him. There we go. All right. Here comes. Oh, he's got some stick. Okay, go sloth. Root for this one. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's stuck. He's stuck. Good.
You have 3 for 3.
Here we go. All right. Oh, cheapers. Keep him coming. Keep him coming.
That's a chicken.
That's just a chicken. We got one more sloth coming.
No, you got a bunch.
Oh, we got some other floor here. Here we go. Oh. And
You're sitting on them.
here goes nothing. Oh, good one. And here goes something. All right. Now, you will see, everybody who's tuning in to see Chip Deffaa is going, what the hell? I know. Here we go.
There's 2 by your feet, honey.
Oh, I got it.
And 1 more by the
I don't think this one is going to go. Oh,
and 1 by the
all right, I got one like under my ass here. And here's one more sloth. To begin. Oh, good. Good one. Greeley Times here on this episode of the Dave's Gone By Show where the chickens are flying. Yes. Oh, I got one. I caught one. I think the glasses are throwing me. There we go.
Yes. Where's the glasses?
Oh, Haggett. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Man, I'm really off.
Oh, God.
Oh, these don't stick, by the way. These are just chickens.
Okay, now follow.
Follow. All right, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, the chickens. They are coming home to roost, ladies and gentlemen. So, this... Oh, my... Didn't I give it to you?
No.
I don't know where my phone is. Yeah, okay. All right. Greeley.
You know what we need for this, David?
What we need? Oh! My wife is saying we need protocol, because that is our... But this is not like you get your life. It's not like the duck will come down and give us $100. It's just that I'll be talking about that word later. But the protocol of Greeley Times is the phone calls come in, and then we read them to you as they are in the Greeley Tribune newspaper of people calling the cops to help out with something going on in their neighborhoods in northern Colorado. So our first call, I had my, so I can take the call now. Actually, I have the headset. A caller on 23rd Avenue said that 2 kids were trying to hit passing cars with weapons. I think we're watching too many baby Taliban videos. I don't know how old the kids are. I don't know what kind of weapons they were using, but considering my experiences with children this week, I don't doubt it. I honestly don't doubt it. Let's get to our next call. I'm going to try the other ear on this one. Yes, sir. Where are you from? Oh, hon? Oh my God! I didn't realize. I didn't even write this out.
What?
This is a chicken alert. A chicken alert simply
Sorry.
simply means
I can't move quickly.
that this particular story has to do with a chicken of sorts. And so we always alert people, because one of the beautiful things about living in suburban, we weren't even in rural Colorado, we were in suburban Colorado, was that you would have stories about chickens in the newspaper.
Look at all the sloths.
Oh, because they're losing their stick, they're just going down the wall faster.
Yeah.
But a caller on 15th Avenue in Greeley, Colorado, complained of ongoing issues with a rooster next door crowing very early in the morning. This is you don't get this in like the Maryland newspapers or the New York, New Jersey newspapers, even the suburban stuff. It's like, oh my God, there's a chicken problem. You get that in Greeley, Colorado. And here's the issue: sit-down discussions with the bird were futile. So no matter the police tried talking to it, they're. I'm guessing they're going to need a mediator, yeah. Or frighten the chicken, or using protocol, or instead of a mediator, they should frighten the bird with a meat eater.
Here, use this. Put that in the lawn.
Oh yeah.
Put that on the lawn. That would be good.
If they put this to scare that rooster's not going to say a word. They're just going to. There's the zombie gnome, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this would keep a bird quiet for a while.
It's scary.
It would probably poop more, though. I know I would.
That is true. That is very true.
We have another call coming into the Greeley Police Department. I'm going to use the chicken phone on this one. A caller, where are you? Oh, on 2nd Street, said that when he tried to go through the intersection, the construction worker tried to bite him and then pulled out a gun.
Maybe it was a bear. I think it might have been a bear.
You know, sometimes in the morning when it's kind of not so light out, and it was only about 7 o'clock in the morning, a construction worker and a bear can look very much alike. If they're wearing the same kind of helmet and bearded, you never know.
He wears the hat. What is that? Yogi wears the hat, so.
And plus, I do think construction workers have their protocol is to bite first and shoot later.
I've never seen a construction bite someone, but hey.
Well, he tried to bite. I don't get it. I can't even, as they say, I can't even. Now, hon, we have a quieter moment here. This is going to be an awe alert. An awe alert means that you hear this particular story, this call that came into the police, and your reaction is, awe. That's not an awe alert. That's a very different kind of alert. This is like an awe. Awe. So get ready at home to say awe when you hear this. A caller, he's telling me. A caller on 28th Avenue saw a small kitten underneath a vehicle outside. The caller said it looked scared and would not come out. Oh. What did you do? Well, I guess you get a stick or something.
Probably a can of tuna.
Oh! Yeah, but then are you rewarding it and then it's going to sleep under the car because it's going to expect tuna the next day?
When we were in Florida with my grandfather, a lot of the cats went on the car for warmth. So they're cold, they go, you just got to count them all and make sure they're out of the car,
Oh, yeah, no, there was one girl I was working with, I think at the my last day job, and she had said Now, no matter what, she's always opening the trunk, always, because one time there was like a raccoon wrapped around the engine or something like that. They got to peel off. Oh, yeah. No, things get into things, man. Yeah. Or maybe onto the tailpipe, or there was just something alive that was no longer.
That's a bad mechanic. Yeah.
It kind of is. Okay. We have another phone call on Greeley Times. I'll get the violin phone. Hello. Or I should say, cello. Get it? Cello. Thank you. A caller on 31st Street Road saw a bat hanging on the outside of her window. Police told her that the bat would fly away when it got dark. Fly away with her soul, perhaps. Oh, but this is not quite an awe alert because bats are so creepy and icky. But literally one day later, 11:30 in the morning, a caller on 9th Avenue, far away from 31st Street Road, saw a sick bat on the sidewalk that kept trying to fly but wasn't able. Oh. Bat down, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, bat down, da-da-da-da-da.
If you're doing bat down, you're going to need this.
I'm going to need my, that's not my laser, that is what is that? It's a light ring of some sort, yeah.
You're doing Batman, so that's like the bat signal. That's the bat down signal.
Here it is. Oh, should probably be that way. There. Now, let's see if I can get that cool lighting effect I used to.
Oh,
Like
you gotta kind of, I don't know.
it was one.
Put on that light. Is that little light on you?
Yeah.
Put that light over it. Put that light over it.
Well, I don't want to mess with the lighting on the thing, but it's not quite. There was one time a couple of weeks ago. I hope you saw it when I was getting all sorts of cool like light streaks and things, but it's not happening. Instead, you're just getting this, which is good enough. Let's see if this one works. Thank you very much. Hold on. Let me get this on my finger. Here we go. Oh, crap.
That's okay. Just hold it.
Hold on. All right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, you have a little bit.
Oh, I see it on that one, yeah.
Little bit glowy.
Let's try another one.
Kind of. Oh, look how pretty.
Yeah. Ooh, let me try this one. Hold on.
Oh.
I'll give you two more.
Science! There we go.
Just don't put it in your eyes, honey. Here's two more.
Oh, I realized we had so many. I'm not going to put them on my fingers.
We have
We're
four.
gonna-
Yeah, you can
just
go.
going to hold
You
them.
don't have to do that.
Let's see.
I'm gonna
The
see
green
how
one
much
was good.
online. Hold on. I think last time, I don't know. I think the red one.
Say ah.
I think the red one was the one who did it.
Red was good. But the lighting up here was positioned a different way.
Oh no! Look, the green. Look at the green.
The green was, the green. Oh, the green went off.
Sorry.
Uh-oh. Oh, there. Oh, I see. Hold on.
I'll tell you which ones. So far, the one
Whee! Yeah.
the blue. The blue actually has a glow.
Oh, look what happened. Look what the green is doing. Is it making a dot on the wall?
Yes.
That is freaking awesome.
It's making some kind of like whoa! How is that happening?
I don't know it, but none of the other colors is doing it.
Try it with the other ones.
Yeah.
Try it with
Oh, this one a little bit. You can sort of see it. It's on the Israeli girl there. Oh,
I
no.
don't see the
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Hold on.
Okay.
Give it a couple of seconds because we're on tape delay. Aren't you glad you all tuned in for this?
Try the blue one, honey. That's a bright color.
Oh,
I see the white. Yeah.
yeah. Let's keep coming off these things here. Okay.
I'll fix them. It's a rubber band, honey. That's all.
Oh, the blue did it for a moment.
Look at that.
There it is.
We never knew any of this. We learned.
No. Whoa. How exciting.
Yeah.
Now let's try the red one more time. The red one more.
Give it a try.
Give it a try. Red is not working for me. I'm sorry about that, folks.
No, but it's very. Maybe
And the
that's
really weird part
Yeah.
is that when I look at these things, this looks green to me.
Yeah.
I shine it as just white with a green perimeter.
Yeah. I don't know. It's optical.
Oh, but the green one is the best in terms of the dot.
Yeah. Maybe
That's really freaking
what
awesome.
you need to do is just turn it off to save the batteries.
Yeah, oh yeah. Anywho, Andy, what? Let's see. We're doing Greeley Times. That's it. That's what we're doing here in the Daverhood. Okay, a caller. Let me get the phone here. A caller on Apple Avenue saw two large exotic birds in the neighbor's front yard. Police tried to contain the birds, but couldn't because, and I quote, either the cop, I guess I'm quoting the cops here. Police tried to contain these exotic birds, but couldn't because, quote, they fly. According to dispatch notes. You know, who says police aren't educated?
Ask a question.
So, can birds fly?
What a wonderful idea.
I think it would be. This is my yester button. Should police have tried to do more to corral the birds?
Whatever you say.
Yeah, I think they could have gotten a net and transplanted them. Do you think the police should have called wildlife?
Yes, dear.
Yeah, thank you. Anywho, let's do one or two more, then we'll have an elsewhere, and then we'll get to our guest, Chip Deffaa, at the 10 o'clock hour. A caller on 20th Avenue said a woman... Yeah, this is an avenue. Said a woman kept coming to the door and asking for a bunch of different people who didn't live there.
Herbert Hoover?
You figure she'd have a list.
Grover Cleveland?
You know, you would figure, it's one thing if you come with a piece of paper. Does Myron Cohen live here? Does Freddie Roman live here? Gilbert Gottfried? No. Teddy Roosevelt? No. But this one kept going and coming back. It's like
different hat. Maybe she was the process server, you know, those people who serve the summons, right?
Oh, I wonder. Does Hanoch Levin live here? Primo Levi, does he? No, I don't know. Anywho, let's go elsewhere while we still have time. So, elsewhere is when, because these are all just phone calls and people calling the police department, but I do love funny and odd news. And that can come from anywhere. So every week we try and read at least one story that comes from somewhere else. And we find amusing and want to share that with you. So today's elsewhere story comes to us from everywhere, USA. Because it's reported by public television.
Everywhere?
Everywhere.
Is that a place?
Well, unfortunately, kind of yes. Because this involves food. And food that you can buy pretty much everywhere. Great value? Not so much. Walmart, which is everywhere, has recalled its frozen raw shrimp sold in 13 states. Well, not everywhere, so 13 states. Because, remember this, you told me about this story, a potential, not just that they were, tainted, not just because they were old, not just because, some worker got a piece of finger caught in the shrimp thing. No. The raw shrimp are being recalled because of potential radioactive contamination.
Wow.
The Federal Drug Administration, the FDA, asked Walmart to pull 3 lots of Great Value brand frozen shrimp from stores after federal officials detected the radioactive isotope cesium-137 in shipping containers and in breaded shrimp imported from Indonesia. Don't we? But wait, here's what I don't get. When you get multivitamins, isn't cesium one of the things that they put in there? I mean, calcium.
Not that level, David.
Well, no, not maybe not.
No.
Not with the isotope in it. But I do think you eat cesium. I'm going to check now. I'm going to do some Googling here.
There's a protocol from the FDA, David, who says what you can and can't eat.
There's a protocol. I like it. I know we don't want to eat radioactive cesium. Is cesium safe to eat? It can be ingested, but not recommended. especially with radioactive cesium isotopes. Okay, fair enough. Don't want to be eating isotopes in your Flintstones vitamin. The risk from the recalled shrimp is quite low, in quotes from Donald Schaffner, a food safety expert at Rutgers University. And if there's anybody who's going to be an expert on things being radioactive, it's going to be someone from New Jersey. But still, if you have a box of these breaded shrimp, throw it away. Cesium-137 is a byproduct of nuclear reactions, including nuclear bombs, testing, reactor operations, and accidents. Trace amounts are found throughout the world in soil, food, and air. And it's funny, I literally this week finished watching the film Oppenheimer, where he was saying, if once we let this genie out of the bottle, right, we're going to defeat Japan, and it's a great thing, but there are going to be consequences for atomic testing and for nuclear and hydrogen bomb testing and one of these other kinds of things that they're doing. Things are going to not disappear. They're not going to just float up into a whole complete other galaxy. So something's going to fall to Earth and be in our soil, our water, our air, and so forth. So there it is. Now, now the great value Walmart shrimp, you kind of want to avoid, or at least this particular packet of it. Walmart's frozen shrimp has only a tiny bit of this radioactive cesium, but it is still, according to the story, best to avoid even low-level exposure over time. I wonder if Marie Curie were still around, and would she wear like a shrimp on a necklace around her? Like she did a little bit of radium. It's like, oh, it's a shrimp. It reminds me of my childhood. And then I'm wondering, gee, why do I get up and I want to die?
I have no hair.
Yeah, well, yeah. How come I don't have to shave like the little hairs off my boobs anymore? They're just falling right out. In fact, I started wearing another shrimp over my vagina, and I canceled my Brazilian. I don't need it. Anyway, moving on with more of Greeley Times, my friends, on this Saturday, August 30th, 2025. Chicken phone, hello. A caller on 9th Avenue said a driver hit a fire hydrant. There were pieces of a black vehicle nearby, and the hydrant was knocked over. Jeepers. It would never occur to me, but I guess it would. Like, you would figure a hydrant looks so incredibly solid and stolid that it would do heavy damage to your bumper, to your car, if you smashed into it. You wouldn't figure that a hydrant would just go, hey, I give up too, and lean over and tilt and be smashed as well. But, anyway, I guess if you do hit a hydrant in the street, you go with the flow. Get it? No. Okay. Let's do a different one. Okay. Here's another call that came into the Greeley Police Department. A caller on 16th Street said he needed a ride to detox, and he didn't have any rideshare options.
Like Uber.
Yeah. No. So they called the police. Can you bring me to my detox?
But wouldn't they supply a car?
I would, or maybe his sponsor was shit-faced or something. And it's like, I would call Leroy, but yeah, he had a bender.
I admire that.
He lost his 5-year chip just last night.
That.
And by the way, we have our 50-something year chip coming up in a few minutes. Our chip, I see Chip. That was
Chippy. Yeah, what do they call him Chippy? Everyone probably calls him Chippy.
All right, let's do one more to finish up Greeley Times on this Saturday morning. On the goat phone, hello, Gogi. A caller on Clubhouse Drive reported a Buick sedan.
Oh, how did you know it's a Buick? Well, maybe it's Charlie.
And by the way,
it's your friend Charlie.
Oh! No, he had a Cutlass. He had a Cutlass. But this is 3:45 in the morning, by the way, about 3 weeks ago. So somebody is calling up the police to report a vehicle, parked vehicle presumably, 3:45 in the morning on Clubhouse Drive, a Buick sedan with all the windows fogged up. Gee, I wonder what might be going on in there. I think he's probably there with binoculars. It's like, if they could just, take a thing and what do they call it, a squeegee, and unfog the windows so I can watch. These people are having a life. They're having fun on a Saturday night. Me, I'm sitting here at the window. Look at, do I see? Oh, are those boobs? No, wait, that's just a neck rest. But, anyway, this was Greeley Times here on Dave's Gone By. We're going to finish up the segment so we can move on to other things.
Oh, yeah.
But this was Greeley Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi!
Yippee-yi, 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 yi, yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Oh, yes, my friends. It's just a couple of minutes till 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time here in the Daverhood. So in just a minute or two or three, our guest, Chip Deffaa, will be joining us. He'll be live. This is live. So, not yet. So I'm going to wait until... are you okay? It's morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's morning, and my wife and I are both over 50. So getting up and sitting down is...
Texted you or wrote you?
Well, I can check
I'll check
the Facebook page because I can't really do it on here.
Messenger. Hold on, let's see.
But yeah, so Chip, as I mentioned earlier, he is a playwright. He is
Oh, it's
a...
only 9:57.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying it's sort of like...
Okay, yeah.
got
He
a
knows because he's
couple-
like looking forward to it. And
Yeah, oh, definitely. He'll be signing on in a moment. So Chip has awards. He's won an ASCAP award. He's won a Jersey Press award because he used to write for the New York Post. He used to be a theater critic there as well as jazz and cabaret critic. And cabaret seems to be his greatest love because he has put out more than 40 CDs, not just of him singing. All of these are of cabaret leading lights and some legends.
is he taping them live or in studio?
Oh, studio. Actually, I don't know. Maybe he did do some live club recordings. But generally, his mission also is to get out every scrap, every song that George M. Cohan...
Oh, like the American, is it part of American Songbook?
Oh, yeah.
Where did we see that? What state? Indianapolis? Where did we go?
Indianapolis was
Remember
Cole
we-
Port...
We
Yeah.
saw that they built a whole theater complex and there was like a back room we went in with all the songs.
Indianapolis.
And the woman sang with the younger man.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, well, we saw Barbara Cook, the late Barbara Cook.
Yeah.
It wasn't with
Oh,
Michael...
yeah.
It wasn't with Feinstein, I don't think. Who was her...
I think it was. He was a very well-known. The theater critics knew him.
It probably was
He was
Michael
He
Feinstein.
was in a suit. He did an all-American songbook.
Yeah.
I think it was.
So,
Where was that?
what, sorry?
Where was that?
It was Indianapolis.
Okay, it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely Indianapolis. So, because I think Cole Porter was there. We were at the House of the 10 where Lutton Fontanne were. It was it was a great trip. But Chip is, what else? What else can I tell you about him? He's the editor-at-large of theaterscene.net, which is a great place to read theater reviews and also some information about the theater. So he is just indefatigable when it comes to keeping theater and, as my wife said, the Great American Songbook and music alive and great cabaret people.
I wonder if he's been to that theater. He probably has.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, that would make sense because they
Yeah.
have all archives, right?
And he's probably been wherever Cohan came from, and Berlin. Well, Berlin was New York.
Yeah.
Or Russia first, I think. But so it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm hoping he's not having trouble signing on and in.
He's probably just joining in now. If you want, I can text him on.
I don't have a message from him, so I'm sure he's
I
joining
don't see anything either, so
momentarily.
Wait a minute or two. Sometimes, as soon as you go to log on, what happens? It updates.
Oh, I know.
And then your Wi-Fi kicks out. So I always get nervous, like when it's like 10:30 and I have a meeting and it's like 10:31 and then the person's like, I'm ready to email them and then they come in the room,
Well, it always happens. Always. So while I'm waiting, let me tell you about another website. which is my own, which is not for the Dave's Gone By archives, but if you want to read my writing, because I've been a writer for 30-something years of theater reviews, of songs, of plays, of really horrifying, disgusting limerick poems, of interviews with some major celebrities and things like that. I've agglomerated as many as I can, and I'm always trying to add more from my many years of doing this stuff. It's all there at davelefkowitz.org. Dave, Lefkowitz, davelefkowitz.org. And, you just click, it's all...
Oh, he said, can you,
resend the link?
yeah, so I'll get this, where's the Zoom link?
I'm just going to do it right here.
No, he wants it on chat, in Facebook chat, so is it in your email, where is it?
Yeah, I'm just going to load it up by...
Right here, hold on, I got it right here.
You got it? Okay, so...
Instagram, hold on.
Instagram.
It's right here. Oh, I got it, hold on.
Cool, yeah.
Is there, wait, I don't know if I can resend this. How do I do this? Hold on, wait. Copy.
So Chip is ready and waiting to come on, but he needs the link, which I thought I sent him.
No, I just pasted it in the Zoom link. So I just pasted this to him in the... He said all the chat messages are missing, so I just repasted it.
Yeah, he should be able to click on that and come right in.
Couldn't find it.
Yeah. So, momentarily, Chip Deffaa, and then we'll keep him in the room because I'm not doing the interview. The interview is going to be conducted by the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. Rabbi Sol has been with us since our very, very first episode of the program 23 and a half years ago.
I'm going to email him from your email.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
To both. He hasn't, email him.
Oh, hold on. I think we're in good shape. So Chip is trying to get on. I'm going to play some klezmer music to bring, just like the Shabbos, to bring Rabbi Sol into the Daverhood. Die. Hey! Hey! Oh, shalom, my friends, and shalom, my enemies, too, and my enemies as well. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And what fun we're going to have with Chip Deffaa, who is, I'm hoping, still getting his camera going up here, because we don't have video. I'm hoping we have audio. Chip, can you hear us? Can we hear you?
I can hear you.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, we see you. Mit Mazel McGlick. And can you tilt your camera a little more, because I see a lot of ceiling. Oh, I love your shirt. Wow. It's like Woodstock threw up. I love it.
I saved this for you. This is the premiere of the shirt.
It's beautiful, actually. So getting to a place where your Wi-Fi is kind of decent, where we're a little herky-jerky, but as long as we hear you, I guess and better lighting, too. Now we're talking. Now we've got it going on. Here you go. Looking good. Okay. Chip Deffaa. You're semi. Okay. Once you settle in, I think the camera will be a little more. Am I breaking up, or are you?
No, it's good. I was just moving the thing to try to get, the lighting better and the positioning better.
Yeah. We lost the lighting there. But now we're good. I think we're okay.
Okay.
Good to see you, Chip Deffaa. Let me tell you again, the people at home, who Chip Deffaa is. Singer, songwriter, theatrical playwright, and producer of music CDs dedicated to the Great American Songbook and Cabaret. He is a former jazz, theater, and cabaret, of course, critic for the New York Post. He's won an ASCAP award, and if you've ever had an ASCAP, you know how painful that can be. He's won awards from New Jersey Press, as well as I think you are still the editor-at-large of theaterscene.net
That's right.
website. And he is really one of the foremost experts, probably living, on the music and life of George M. Cohan. So
I'm probably living, yes.
Well, and probably Irving Berlin too, and one or two more of composers of that era. And are you a Sigmund Romberg man, or is that too early, or not? Or
I like him, but I'm not an expert on him like Cohen
not
or
an
Berlin.
aficionado like on those. So Chip Deffaa, welcome, shalom to you. Welcome to the
Shalom
Daverhood.
to you.
Shalom. So tell me. You're doing so many things, and you have done so many CDs. You have a new one now. By the way, these CDs I mentioned, it's not like he sings and dances on all 40 CDs. You have other people, cabaret notables, singing the songs of cabaret. So what is your latest CD that you have produced?
Okay. I'm not singing on this, but this is a CD of Al Jolson, Eddie Cantor, and Jimmy Durante, called Al Jolson, Jimmy Durante, and Eddie Cantor Give Their Regards to Broadway. And it's got some previously unreleased material, including tributes by all three of them to George M. Cohan. And I listened to over 100 Eddie Cantor radio shows before I found this wonderful tribute he did to George M. Cohan just shortly before Cohan died. And so here's Cantor remembering that he said the first song he ever remembered singing was a Cohan song, and doing this tribute to him. And that was a find. And then I found this Jimmy Durante tribute to Cohan, and Jimmy Durante had worked and Cohan had done a film together. And so it's nice to find rare stuff and put that out. At the same time, as you said, the other CDs I'll do are like with living artists. I'm very proud, like here's just one of them, rare and unrecorded Irving Berlin songs. And some aren't rare. We also have some famous ones, because fans always say we want to hear something we know and some things that have never been recorded. And I'm very proud, like Tony Award winner Betty Buckley's on this album, and Anita Gillette, who was in Irving Berlin's last Broadway musical, came in and recorded for me, and Steve Ross, another Berlin expert. Lots of good people, as well as young people. And I laugh because I don't do anything out of a monetary motivation. It's just I'm trying to put out the songs I like and the performers I like. And one of the young performers, Jack Corbin, he's just 22, and he's recorded with me since he was 14. He called me up just so excited because I had given him this very obscure Irving Berlin song to record called When the Curtain Falls. Never recorded in Berlin's lifetime, a song like from 1917. And he called me up and he says, Chip, do you know, because I never checked the statistics. He says, do you know that song now has 6,000 hits on Spotify? 6,000 people have somehow found this totally obscure Irving Berlin song by a young guy that's hardly famous. He's a wonderful singer, but is not some of the people like, know a name like Betty Buckley. And so he couldn't be happier that he's got 6,000 people heard that recording. And I'm like, okay, it's good, but I would have been happy even if it was 5 people, because it's a song that's never been recorded. We wanted to record it. I wanted to find a good singer for it, famous or not famous. But he's happy that,
Well, what was that line? I don't know if it was from a Jonathan Larson thing or an Ed Kleban thing of like, I'd rather be 5 people's favorite thing than 1,000 people's second favorite thing. Does that line ring a bell?
I love that. And either of those people I love. So whether it was Jonathan Larson or Kleban,
But this does also beg the question. There's this Corbin guy that I'm also friends with him on Facebook, and it seems like they're like one of these special people who from 4 years old knew he wanted to love cabaret and music that nobody else he knows is listening to. But question, he's saying, 6,000 likes on Spotify, and yet you are still putting out physical hard copy CDs.
Right.
What makes you in 2025 have a physical product still? as opposed to like a neuro token or whatever the hell they call these things.
I know some of my recording artists don't have a means to play a CD, and they'll just listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music or Deezer or Tidal or one of these digital things. I'm not a digital guy. I've never, I shouldn't say this because my albums are on all these platforms. I've never downloaded a digital album. I buy either a physical CD, or I have lots of LPs. I have 78s. But I like, when I make the CDs, I'll typically write like a 24-page liner note booklet. So there's some information on every song, every singer, the musicians. That's part of the joy of it. And also a lot of the people who get these things are older people, and they like a physical CD. So that, well, like we just did an album of the soundtrack album of the movie of George M. Cohan, A Night, and even just to have it opens up to have liner notes copy and stuff like that.
Hold it up so we can see. Hold it on the.
I mean, this one's not so long, but it's still 8 panels of liner notes and stuff. There are enough people that it's not just enough they don't want to just hear this CD. They want to actually, look at there's a photograph of John Peterson, there's a photograph of Cohan, and they want to know exactly who the musicians are, all the stuff you don't get if the history of it that you only get if you buy a physical product. And they can do a digital download, but if they want to hear it on Spotify or Apple Music, that's fine. But a lot of people like to know.
No, I miss albums. I miss 8-track tapes. So there's something wrong with me on that score. But let me ask you this though: what is like the print run, if you will, of a CD? Do you do 1,000? Do you do 5,000? Or is it per order like books now, where you make if you have 10 people to buy a book, you make 12 copies?
I used to always print 1,000, and nowadays I might print 300. And if we get orders for more, you do more. But like right now, there's one in the works, and it'll be an album of me singing, and we'll print 300 CDs, and other people get digitally. But I'm happy because I get to sing with all these people I love. So there'll be a duet with me and John Peterson, who stars in all my George M. Cohan shows and stuff. There's Jerry Vivino on sax, and he's played with all the greats in the world, from Tony Bennett, Bruce Springsteen, all that. And he'll sing a number with me that's about a blues, but have him playing when I'm singing some blues things. I'll sing with Ingrid Lucia from the Flying Neutrinos. She'll sing a song about New Orleans, where she's from, and I'll sing with different people that have been, parts of my life. And Keith Anderson, who's sung on many of my albums for 20 years and stuff. Lots of good people.
Let me ask you also about the way of putting a CD. Even the Cantor Jolson. Who was it? It was Eddie Cantor Jolson and who?
Jimmy Durante.
Jimmy Durante. So I can't imagine that is all public domain yet, because public domain starts in the mid-20s. What do you have to go through to get the rights to use those stars' material, not to mention the songwriter material, which may or may not be public domain at this point? What do you have to go through for rights?
Well, it's usually pretty straightforward. There's agencies like Easy Song Licensing, and you can tell them, I want to record these songs that have been previously recorded by whoever, Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra. They can, now everything's computerized. They can look at those rights and clear them within a couple of days. When I was younger, it was a big, hard process, and you had to allow a lot of time to search for the rights. When I first began doing something like this, I remember writing Jimmy Durante's widow in person. And I was thrilled just to have a note from her. Do you know what I mean? And then she says, well, really, you should talk to the publishing companies. And I don't get involved with the business, but here, a handwritten note like saying, here's who publishes the song or something like that. But an amazing amount of material is public domain. Like I did this album of Al Jolson. I don't remember the title of this one, whether it was From Broadway to Hollywood or something like that. And people are saying, and there's soundtrack recordings from maybe The Singing Fool, which was 1928, and The Jazz Singer 27, and The Plantation Act 1926. And that material, those film soundtracks are now public domain. And I can get stuff. There's stuff that I have on those albums that was released in those films in those days that are somehow missing from the copies available for home viewing. Like we've got a botched copy is the one that's in circulation, and so numbers have been cut, or it was cut out or chopped, or it's missing numbers. But some of that stuff I've got original sources. I've got a friend of mine, he's got the original Vitaphone discs to some of this material, which is very, very rare, so that I can hear the and then I have to get a guy to do the audio restoration stuff like that. But we can throw in, like, there's some little bit, it's a small bit of dialogue. It's going to be on, is it on the one that's out now, or it's going to be on the next one? It's going to be on the next one. I mean, it's already been mastered, but it's not released yet. And in it, it's just a little dialogue. And Jolson is calling his wife up and saying, I'm coming home for dinner. Now, how about you make me let's start with a little herring. I want some potato pancakes. I want some ham and eggs. No ham. And it's very clear. If you understand it, what he's saying, it'll go right by a lot of listeners. But if you were a Jewish listener, you understand the point he's making.
The implication is, yeah.
Yes, and I would bet you anything that he either ad-libbed that bit, that it wasn't in a script or something like that. It sounds very much like I mean, it's just done so cutely. I want a little this, and make me a little herring, a little potato pancake, and a little ham. No ham, just the eggs, and it's cute, and that's never been on an album, and it leads. It's not a song, but it's part of his personality, and it's a little part of history. So I was thrilled to say, okay, that's public domain. I'm going to get that into the
Sure, why not? A little stickle to include.
Yeah. And it's who he is. It's part of who he is. And sometimes you have material that you might want to include, but you don't, because people said things that were insensitive towards ethnicities or races, and you don't want to. And somebody said, why don't you, I have a very rare recording of this, because maybe the lyrics today would be racist. And I said, there's no point in needlessly hurting people when I've got other stuff that's just as rare, and it wasn't done in the spirit of meanness, but in today's world, you wouldn't use that language. Irving Berlin lived long enough that he rewrote some of his early songs because he used some lines that he realized were stereotypical or demeaning, and they weren't.
I'm a Native American too, like you. Or I don't know if that's one of the ones he would have rewritten. That's just one they cut out after he died. But yeah.
And in fact, it's very rare to have somebody this sensitive. But in 1946, because he had reissued a song where they used it on a recording, and it was a song he had written, let's say, back in the World War I era, and there were some racially insensitive words. Maybe it said darkies or something that was said in those days, and he apologized in print. He took a full-page ad in Variety and says, and it was a fascinating ad because he said, I hear it now, and that's not the spirit in which I wrote it. And he changed it to say from darkies to folks or something like that. That was not that. He says, but you have to understand, I grew up in an era where a Jewish character in vaudeville was stereotyped. He says, an Irishman was this way, a German was that way, and we didn't think of those things as being hurting anybody's feelings. It was just part of what we did. He says, and I was part of that culture, and I thought it was a very insightful way, not to say I was right, but try to explain to people this was not done out of malice.
It was different. different times.
Right. But
Now,
I want to change it now because I
yeah.
don't want to hurt. And I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah.
And the fact that he did this in the 1940s and not like the
Yes.
1980s or the cancel culture of the past
No,
10
no. It was
years or something. But
it
yeah.
was extraordinary. It was unique. I never saw anybody else do that as a public thing, saying, if I offended anybody, I'm sorry. And I thought, that's amazing.
Oh, I once wrote a song called My Sweet Little Schwarze. And I was doing it, this was just 5 years ago. Oh,
Right.
the apologies I had to make. Let me tell you, I don't even do that song anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I changed it to Eskimo, and I can get away with it now.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit, because you don't really see Eskimos eating watermelons a lot. But anyway, let's have some more conversation here with Chip
Go.
Deffaa. So you have mentioned many times that the Cohen thing for you
Yes.
began as a child seeing a Cagney film.
Yes.
Tell us, what was it, that suddenly, like the curtains open, you saw Technicolor, well, it wasn't Technicolor, but you saw this movie and what?
Okay. I grew up in the New York area, and $1 Million Movie used to show a movie 7 days a week. So they show this movie, Yankee Doodle Dandy, the story of George M. Cohan, and I watch it the first time, and I'm mesmerized. I'm in third grade, and I watched it every day for a week. And I was so gripped. The first time in my life, I skipped swim practice, which you were not allowed to do. I was on a swim team because it was more important to see this movie. And it was more, and I want to know more about him. And I asked Dad, where do I hear more music like that? And he says, well, maybe in Broadway shows. That's the kind of music you like. Now that got me excited about Broadway generally. And then I started looking up Cohan in the little encyclopedias we had at home. And I took it upon myself. I got yellow line paper from school. We never had a writing assignment in school. The teacher, third grade teacher, would never have assign us a report or anything like that. And I wrote her a 10-page report on George M. Cohan and handed it in. And she called my parents and says, this is extraordinary. He says, we don't have another student that could write 10 pages, much less somehow he did research. I combined what I heard from the movie, which I assumed it was all true. A lot of it's made up in a movie, but took that from what was in the encyclopedia so I could name other plays he did and musicals and songs he wrote. And then I started asking, like my brother was 3 years older than me. So if I'm third grade, he's sixth grade. To me, he knows everything in the world. Like, tell me more about George M. Cohan, who he'd never heard of. And my brother says, he'll do some research for me. So my brother starts on this quest. My brother, God love him, to this day, he's the same. He will do anything for you, anything. I mean, if I opened a play in New York and he was in Korea on business, he would fly back jet lagged to be in the audience that night. So my brother starts searching around. Can he find me Cohan sheet music or an old recording in a secondhand shop or a book or something like that? Eventually, he gets from a library Cohan's autobiography, which is very rare and hard to find. Now I own a copy. I might own 2 copies. But then...
But wait, can I ask, does Cohan tell the truth in his autobiography? Or is it kind of like Richard Rogers where, it's not all necessarily,
It's a lot of it's just breezy anecdotes, but his personality comes through very clearly. And even if the stories have been shaped to get a laugh or get a punchline, the personality comes through so clearly. He says, and whether it's literally true or not, he says, my father tried to have someone give me music lessons. And I took only 3 lessons. That's all I needed. And the music teacher wrote my father, there is no need to teach this boy anything. It is impossible to teach him anything because he already knows it all, which was, of course, a little put down of George, but George is showing us who his personality was. And there's truth in that story, whether it was literally that teacher or that. And I laugh because later when he watched Yankee Doodle Dandy, he thought Cagney captured his personality so well. He said, he got my attitude. My God, how did he get my attitude so well? I thought all you had to do was read this autobiography, and it's all there. It's there whether he's up or he's down. It's all there. But
so you turned this 10-page paper to
wait.
Oh, so please, yeah, there's more. Yeah,
This is, I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself, but
sure.
the teacher I turned it into is, her name was Mr. Remus, my third grade teacher, Richard E. Byrd School in Glen Rock, New Jersey. Years later, when I do George M. Cohen at Night in New York, and I hire Vince Giordano, the best bassist I can find to be in the bass in this show. And I say, Vince, I want you here, and it's so much there. And I tell him this story about how I had this third grade teacher, Mr. Remus, and I wrote the paper, which I still have. My parents got it back from her and saved it. He said, Chip, Mr. Remus was my aunt who taught in Glen Rock. Your third grade teacher was my aunt. I said, what are the odds of that? That's like the so, but more, now we go to more things. I'm this little kid and I'm being mentored, and I love to perform. And I begged my parents, let me perform. So I went to American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I was in plays, and I was doing shows, and I was in shows with David Hartman and William Devane and all these good people when I was a kid. But the person who mentored me the most, and he was like 1,000,000 years old, was this ex-vaudevillian named Todd Fisher. And he was 1,000,000 years old, and he had, when vaudeville died, he had to get a real job, and he would still perform when he could, and he would still mount little shows. So he never totally gave it up, but he would always say to me, he would show me a program or a photo, and he'd say, this is me playing the Palace Theater in 1913. My life has been downhill ever since then. And he'd show me pictures of him as young, with young Gypsy Rose Lee and Baby June and Mama Rose. He worked with them before they were anybody, And I had no idea who these people were he was talking about. I had to learn. Can you still see me? It's
I
okay.
hear you fine. You're
Todd,
strobing a little. Yeah. Uh-oh.
Okay, so
Oh,
so Todd Fisher is like this amazing mentor, because he knew all these people. He saw all these people. He saw Cohan and all that, and he would say to me, and he stopped when he couldn't work in vaudeville for a time, because vaudeville dies like around 1930. He was still working in the tail ends of it, but he was making his living as a door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesman, and here he is, like in his 80s, still the door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesman, lugging around vacuum cleaners in bags and knocking people, can I sell you a vacuum cleaner? But on his spare time, he was putting on shows for, like, if a school wanted to do a show, he could produce it. If an American Legion wanted to do a show, so he'd have me like be in a show like for the American Legion. And I would say to him, and he'd say, I'm going to give you this song to sing. And he had all the original sheet music. So he's teaching me Irving Berlin songs from like 1919. You'd be surprised. I didn't even understand the songs. And I'd say, but I'm not a singer. I'm not a singer. And he says, you think Cohan was a singer? He talks, sang his songs. You're going to do the same thing. He says, he got over on his personality, and you got it in you, Chipper. He says, they would have loved you in vaudeville. They would have loved you in minstrel shows. You've got personality. That's what matters, not a singing voice. And so he would teach me to sing these songs, and I'd be like, you'd be surprised. So long as you could hit the notes, he didn't have to have an operatic voice. And so I'd come out, and he'd teach me ridiculous little things, not ridiculous little things like they're not ridiculous, but it's things no 10-year-old was learning. Like he would say to me, okay, you're going to make your entrance onto the stage. And you're not going to walk onto the stage. You're going to strut onto the stage. Mm-hmm. And he'd practice teaching me a strut, listening to this music. He says, you got that tempo in your mind? That's a perfect march tempo, 120 beats per minute. You're strutting to it. Your left foot comes down on the beat. This, that, and that. And I say, he says, I said, oh, I've got it. So I'm going to walk into that music. He says, no, you're going to walk in without music, but the music will be in your head. 120 beats per minute on that thing. You're going to hear that tune. 60 years later, I walk into a room. If I want to make an entrance, that music is playing in my head. The left foot is coming down the beat.
The things we learn. I get it. It's absolutely, yeah. I get it. Yes.
He used to sit with me, and we would read Variety once a week, because he wanted to look at the box office grosses, what show is doing well, what's not doing well. I was learning from him. I knew as 10 years old that in 1927, the jazz singer grossed $4 million, and the singing fool the next year grossed $6 million. I still have those figures retained.
Yeah.
And he would say, Cohan sang his numbers. Rex Harrison sang his numbers.
Yes.
My Fair Lady was still running on Broadway. Rex had left the cast, but it was still running. Michael Allenson was playing the role. He says, go see it. Listen to the way he sings a number. That's part of what you do. So I laughed. I'm trying to talk to, I got a wonderful young singer right now who's telling me I'm not good enough to record yet. Like if I have 10 more years of that, because he knows he doesn't sing like these Broadway greats I have on. And I'm trying to tell him, like this guy mentored me, you're young, you're going to be fine for your age. I'll give you numbers you can sing. And if you can't sing, if I say to you, Harrigan, Harrigan, that's me. I said, if you can't say Harrigan, that's me. If you can't sing it, speak it. Speak it to the notes. Harrigan, that's me. You can do that. And I know I'm going to get him to do it eventually. And he'll because he's got so much personality. It's like when I'm auditioning people for a show, I'm not looking for it's not so much how do they read the lines, how do they sing. I'm looking for things like the light in their eyes. Are they going to light up a stage before they've read a line or that? I'm talking with them and I'm making decisions sometimes right then and there. And I've had people come into audition, they don't know it, but they charm me so much just talking to them that I say, okay, he's not right for any part in that script that I've written. I'm going to write a part for him because I want that personality on the stage. And I've written parts for that girl or that guy.
Wow. Have you ever had a part for a really angry Jew? Just bring it right here. I can rock that song. Tradition! Tradition, goddammit! Tradition, damn it. So, yeah, let me ask you, was My Fair Lady the first Broadway show you ever saw, or you were already going to Broadway, but you paid attention to that one because of Rex Harrison?
That was the first one. I think I was 10 years old. My sister was 7. Let me see, was I 10 or was I 9? Okay, so I'm 9 or 10 years old. 10. And we saw it, and every bit of it fascinated me. I was fascinated by, there was a turntable on that stage in the original production that the scenery would revolve around. And to me, when I saw the next revival later and it didn't revolve around, I was like, how could they? That fascinated me so much as a kid. I was fascinated. Just in the overture, you could hear the harp, you could hear the strings, and I could pick out the different instruments, and I could see the instruments. And it was fascinating to see somebody playing a harp. We're watching the music being created, and we're hearing it. We're seeing that. I was also fascinated because at one point, Professor Henry Higgins has to say, damn, damn, damn. And that would not have been allowed in my household. So to hear that said on stage was shocking. And we used to go, in those days, we used to go to our local movie theaters. They had continuous showings. And so we would often go like on a Saturday, and there'd be 2 movies and there'd be the cartoons, and we would stay and watch the movie again. So if you for the price of one admission, you could watch the movie again. And we didn't have a lot of extra money, but it was fun. You could stay in the movie till you were sick of it. So I remember we finished My Fair Lady, and my little sister was probably 7. She says, that's good. Let's stay for the next show. My parents like, it doesn't work like that. You have to go home now. And they had scrimped and saved. They did that, went mostly for me because I was supposed to hear what talk singing sounded like on a New York stage. But I was just fascinated with the whole.
So can I ask you about, we're talking with Chip Deffaa here. When you went to Princeton, because you're Ivy educated, did you go for a theater thing, or were your parents like, no, business, or no, science, something? What did you do?
Listen, this is so stupid. When the first time I stepped foot on Princeton, I was down there as a kid. I was on a swim team too, and we were there for some big swim meet. And the beauty of the place just amazed me, and and walking around, and that it was associated. I was there, and somebody said to me, and Albert Einstein walk these grounds, and he was like the smartest man in the world. And so in my head, this was the place to go. And in my head, I decided then, not knowing anything else, this is where I wanted to go. And it was so beautiful, and it was so I would have gone there if it was a degree in being a dog catcher. And I was so set on it. And then learning later, F. Scott Fitzgerald went to Princeton, and he still is my favorite serious writer, novelist, and short story writer. And Richard Halliburton, a great author, adventurer, explorer, and I grew up on his books, of the Book of Wonders and the Royal Road to Romance. And he went to Princeton, and so in my head, Princeton was where I wanted to go, and I had no idea how hard it was or anything like that. And my parents were like, if you work hard, you can do whatever you want in life. That sort of mythical belief. It's good American belief, but I believed it as a kid. So I was getting good grades from an early age. I was like, that's where I'm going to go. And Dave,
Sol,
it's good I got accepted. Sorry, Sol. It's good I got accepted because, Rabbi, it's good I got accepted because that's the only place I completed an application to. So if I didn't get in, I'd be in a lot of trouble. I'd be out there.
You'd be a traumanic. You'd be just circling the streets, eating out of garbage cans for a year.
I wrote for a humor magazine there. I wrote cartoons, and I'm a trustee of that humor magazine today. All this. What
was your major, though? What was your official? What did you study?
It's going to make no sense because I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I majored in religion bridged with psychology, and also got enough English courses and writing courses, so I got certified to teach English. So I have a teaching degree. That was going to be my fallback, but I had this wonderful writing professor, Irving Dilliard, and God, I lucked out in so many ways, and he had been the editorial page editor of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and there was a great deal of pressure at Princeton saying you should go to grad school after Princeton, so that everybody else was told. So that the logic, most professors would have said the next thing is to get your master's in English and a PhD in English. If you want to be a writer, you want to get advanced degrees in English, and I didn't want to spend more time in a classroom. And this wonderful professor says, what do you want to go to college for? He says you're already a very good writer. Good writers are in short supply. Go out and write. It doesn't matter if it's a small paper, a big paper, a magazine. You'll make a living somehow, and you'll learn more by writing for the next 4 years than if you went and took a graduate course. And he had been a newspaper man all his life. I mean, he wound up being a teacher of us, this distinguished Ferris professor of journalism. And he said, don't go to grad school. He said, you're going to come out in debt that you'll never get out of, and you won't know as much as you will. So here I am. I just started writing for all kinds of stuff. I started writing, I mentioned Richard Halliburton was my first hero. Okay.
Yeah.
So I go out on the trail of summer after I graduate. I go to places he went. I went to this well of death in Mexico, and I jumped in this 80-foot well of death, and I climbed Mount Popocatépetl. I was on his trail and going to places he went, and I write this article about him. And they publish it in the Princeton Alumni Weekly, like this adventurous young guy running to be that. And one of my friends at Princeton had said, you're a good writer, or maybe the professor, somebody had said to me, you ought to talk to so-and-so. He's a good agent. He represents all these big people. He'll never represent you, but he might give you advice, and you can tell him, I recommend you talk to him on how you find an agent. He'll find you some lower level guy. So I'm living like in poverty in a rooming house with everyone shares one telephone in the hall because we can't afford our own phones. And, it's like a pay phone in the hall, and we have a hot plate in our room and stuff like that. And somebody calls and says, there's a call for you. And this editor in New York has read my article on Richard Halliburton about me being on the trail and jumping the well of death, and he's a hero, and I want to know more about him. And she calls me up and she says, I represent so and so, and we'd like you to write a book for us, expand that article into a book, and we'll publish it. And I'm like, I don't even know she's a crank call. And I'm like, I don't tell her I'm in a rooming house. I've got no money. I say, look, listen, I'm in the middle of something. Can I call you back sometime or something? We'll talk or something. And she says, do you have an agent? And I said, no, I don't have an agent. I said, I was thinking about talking to so-and-so, and I mentioned this prominent agent. I said, but he's not my agent. I've never reached out to that man, never contacted him. He's the only name of an agent I know that people had said, talk to him someday, right? So she says, well, I won't call him. And I said, why should you call him? I just said he's not my agent. Why would you call him? 10 minutes later, I get a call from that agent. He's one of the top agents in New York, one of the most highly respected, high-powered agent. He said, so-and-so from so-and-so press called me up, and she said, I'm interested in Chip Deffaa's book. Are you his agent? And he said, and I told her, yes, and there's a lot of interest in Chip Deffaa. He says, there's a bidding war going on for his book. I had not written a page of a book. I had no concept of a book. He says, I told her there's a bidding war going on for you. And I go in to meet him in New York. He calls me in to meet him. And he's got this office bigger than Mussolini's. And he's sitting there like you have to walk like 20 feet to come to his desk.
Oh, yeah.
And he's sitting there at the desk having his personal barber give him a haircut because he doesn't have time to go out to a barbershop while he's talking to me. And he's dropping names of all these famous people he represents. And he says, you want to meet him? You'd like him. I'm like, where do I pay the money for the next month's phone bill? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, I told her you're my agent. He says, and he gets me in advance to write a book for Bob's Merrill Publishing Company. And before I can get the book done, Bob's Merrill goes out of business. And in the meantime, he's like, don't worry. He says, you'll write other books. There'll be other things. Maybe I can find another publisher for that book. But in the meantime, I was moving on and doing other. So the next thing I know, so I've never been without an agent since I was like right out of college. And I've had great agents. And they saved me from being stupid because I'm not a business guy. I have not a clue on business. But when he said, yes, I represent Chip Deffaa, and there's a lot of interest in him, and there's a bidding war going.
Brilliant.
And this is how deals get made in New York. And so she was like putting in her bid in the bidding war against, hoping that she was bidding enough to get the Chip Deffaa book. And I had to write an outline. So I never wrote an outline in my life. All through high school, we had to write outlines before and turn in an outline before paper.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to write an outline. So what I would do is I would write the paper first and then construct an outline that would match it, hand in the outline, then say that's what the paper is going to be written to, because I didn't really work that way. So I would always fake that outline. And I said, but I don't know what's going to be in the book. He said, just write any outline. I got to show them an outline, and they've got your article, and like you've outlined the whole book. So I gave them an outline, and he said he could have sold it without an outline, but he says I got to show them what we're sending out to people in the bidding war. So there was my outline. I laugh. I laugh. I have wonderful agents. I don't know how they do it, but New York runs on agents more than you think. And like I had this, he's still my agent. My gosh, Peter Sawyer is my agent. He's the head of the Fifi Oscar agency. And one time I was into his office, maybe, I don't know, I can't remember. It was 10 years. It doesn't matter. And I say, and he had turned down some offers. I'd come in to get the plays published of George M. Cohan and Knight and one of the other ones, One Night with Fanny Bryce. And I swear, he says, Chip, those need to be published. So he gets on the phone. He calls up some publisher. I watched it happen right there. And he got me the play publishing contract for George M. Cohen and Knight, stage rights, and one of the other ones on that phone call, and a little advance, and he gets his cut, his 10% or whatever. And but he did it on a phone call. They had not seen the play, they had not heard anything from the play. They took his word enough because he was a respected agent and they dealt with him in the past. He said, look, he says, and if you can't get a production someplace of Chip Deffaa's George M. Cohen and Knight on 4th of July, someplace, he says, it's a good play. Take my word for it, you'll be glad. And they took this one, and maybe they took one on Irving Berlin. I don't remember. But I watched that happen on that phone call. If I had not dropped in that office that day, whereas he stopped me because I had found this other publishing company.
Yeah.
And I found them on my own, and they had sent me contracts for the Cohen play and something else. And he says, Chip, have you read these contracts? And I said, I have, and I'm a pretty smart guy. He says, well, my agent's like an agent, and he's a lawyer too. He says, listen to what it says. Listen to what this says. They have bought all rights to your work. They will make a decision on how to bill you, if at all. Means they will now own this play. They don't have to put your name on according to the contract, and he says, so what they're doing is if you sign this, you're saying, yes, you can steal all my work, own it forever, and it's up to you whether you want to give me any credit for it. And I couldn't believe that such a contract could even exist.
What company was this? We've got to know. Who are the Gangafs?
These ones, I said, do you want to negotiate a better contract? He says, Chip, you don't talk to people like that. You don't negotiate with them, because if they would offer a contract so outside the bounds, so outside the norms, the parameters, he says it wouldn't matter what they sign, because they're not obviously in it to do it legitimately. And I forget the name of that company, but he saved me, because I would have been thrilled to have, like, they want to publish me. I didn't even see that thing that at their discretion will be how the author's credited or billed. He said at their discretion means they don't have to bill you at all. They don't have to credit you at all. And they will own all rights. Whereas I own all the rights to my scripts. They license it, meaning so you want to do a play for a month, you pay royalties to put it on for a month, but I still own the underlying property. And when we made the movie of George M. Cohen and Knight, it's basically my script, and John Peterson, who I wrote it for, he made changes with my approval, but we didn't have to get, you
didn't have to ask the permission of the play publishers. Your thing.
Right,
you can do what you want to do with it.
Right.
Speaking of, let me also ask Chip Deffaa, since you've also, as you did, you produced George M. Cohen Tonight off Broadway. You produced a Fanny Bright. Is producing now different than it was, say, back in 2008 or back in 1998? I mean, what are the challenges that you go through to put on a show or even put out a CD that weren't there, or what are the same ones too?
Yes, things are more challenging. And I just want to be clear. When we were first trying out the George M. Cohen show and its various iterations, I was the sole producer. But eventually we got an offer to produce it from the York Theater. And then we got an offer, better yet, from the Irish Repertory Theater. So they were the producers, but they're licensing it. They don't own it. They're saying, you will get this much royalties per performance. You'll get some money up front. And they pay me also a fee to be a director, but they produced it so that it was there. And they were most amazing people to work for. I've also worked with totally dishonest producers that are, I won't mention their names, but it is unbelievable what the dishonest ones will do. So the ones.
Oh, come on, mention it. You can mention them. If they're bad, let's hear it. Who sucks? Come on.
Let me tell you one guy and his wife, and God bless him, he's dead now. So.
Oh yeah, who was he?
But no. I got to tell you how crooked he was. He did a show. He had us do a show in. At this point, George M. Cohen had run off Broadway. Now different people want us to do productions any place, wherever. Somebody would say, come up and do it in Vermont, do it in New Orleans, wherever. And at that point, we would do it anywhere. I would so we were supposed to do this production for him in New Jersey, and he shorted us on the money he promised. Okay, and then he said he had to like rub it in a little bit. He had to say, he says, "Don't take it personally. I do this to everybody." He says, "I have never paid anybody what I've promised because it's such a small amount. Who's going to make a fuss over it?" And then what was most amazing was, and when I called my agent after the fact, he said, "Chip, he was supposed to give you this certain payment before there was a performance. The agent said you should have called me because I would have told you you don't perform. It's not enough for the promise," because he gave some lame excuse like the bank was closed, but you'll get the money tomorrow. You know what I mean? And then he's getting ready, setting me up. But I was so naive, I didn't realize setting me up to cheat me out of the money. So then he says, and we were so angry at him. John Peterson cursed him out with every curse word, words I've never heard. John is a polite guy, but he came up with every, on the phone, like a stream of calling him every name he could imagine because he was a cheat. And then the guy says, he listens to all this tale, and he says, "Listen, I got another booking for you. I want to present your show on such and such." I said, "Are you crazy? We're not going to work for you ever again. You're a crook." And he says, and when we complained about him to Actors Equity, they said he's already on our list of crooked producers, which I didn't even realize existed. That if people ask about him, we would tell them, "This guy's a cheat. Don't work for him." Do you know? So he said, but we said, "We're not going to do that show for you." He says, "You have to. I'm already advertising and selling the tickets for it," which he was. And he had a practice of doing that all the time, selling tickets, which gave him the money to put on things, and he didn't have it. And we said, but we're not giving you permission to put it on. And he's already advertising Chip Deffaa's George and Conan Night. He says, "What are you going to do? Sue me? It'll cost you more money to sue me than you get." And he was right about that. Now, once my father, God bless him, he once was faced with a guy like that who told him those words, "It'll cost you more to sue me than you'll ever collect." And my father sued him anyway, even though at a loss, just to, do you know what I mean? But I didn't even have the money to do that. And the guy, this is how much of a crook he was. He was already selling the tickets to George and Conan Night. He goes out and he finds somebody else, not John Peterson, to just go out and do a night of George M. Cohan songs. And people who saw that sucky presentation of some mediocre guy doing mediocre renditions with a pianist of a dozen Cohan songs that he could find anywhere, you know, and they thought they were seeing George M. Cohan Night. But I had another producer. He was negotiating with my agent about he was going to do my show up in upstate New York. And my agent was negotiating with him, and it didn't look like anything was going to work out. And the guy didn't want to sign the contract and all that. And my agent was on top of things like I wouldn't be. He was doing Google searches on the guy and he saw the guy was actually putting on my show. I had sent him the perusal script to see whether he wanted to produce it. And he thought somehow that it was running as he saw. He thought we'd never find out because it's upstate New York, and he would just collect the money. And my agent, you know, straightened him out, and we got the money. But it's not even about the money. It's about, you don't believe people dishonest exist. And Dave, I mean, I should have written a play about this guy, because the letters we got from the time he spent making up lies to explain it all, he was saying, "You didn't get the contract, and the money I gave you, I sent you the money to bind the contract." He says, "Let me check into it." He says, "Listen," he says, "I didn't realize this is what happened, but the person I gave the money to and the contract to mail it to you, on his way to the post office, he got hit by a hit-and-run driver, and he never got to mail it." He says, "But as soon as I can, when I get that money back from him, I will have my wife personally mail it to you." when the money doesn't show up in the contract, which of course we knew it was all bull. Then I get the letter from the wife saying, it's my fault, not his. I'm the one who forgot when he gave me the package with the money and the contract to mail to you. Don't be angry at him. It's my fault, an honest mistake. And it went on and on and on and on. Eventually we got the money, but I told my agent, I said, there's a better play in this than
So let me ask before we have to let you go,
Sure.
Chip Deffaa, you're working seemingly on like 5 projects at
Always.
once. So what are the 5 projects you're working on, let's say, for the rest of this year? What can we expect from you beyond the things that you've already put out?
Oh, there's always something. When I get off this
Conversation.
conversation, I have to get in touch with an actor in Sweden who's contributing to a George M. Cohan album I'm working on. So there's another album. It's going to be called George M. Cohan's Broadway. We hope to get that out by the end of this year, or maybe it'll be early next year, depending on. It's not quite done yet, but we record it as we can and as the people are available. That's one thing. This album of my own with my dear guest friends from Jerry Bavino and all these wonderful people, Beth Bartley singing with me and stuff like that. That's going to be Chip Deffaa down in Honky Tonk Town, and in a couple of months that will be out. So there's other things. I'm working. I shouldn't even mention it because I'm superstitious about mentioning things. I'm working with a fellow. We're developing a show on Al Jolson, and we hope to have the concept album out. It's the songs have been recorded with like a studio cast of 15, and we have to now record some little voiceovers, intros to set up some of the songs. So we're almost done with that recording. That hopefully will be out by the end of this year. And then once you've got that album out, you see where we can put it on. And I'm not sure where we'll start. I was very blessed that for many years, the 13th Street Repertory Theater, this wonderful woman who ran it, Edith O'Hara, she was 100 years old, but for like many years, she told me, Chip, she liked me. You have carte blanche. Anything you want to try out here, you want to do a rehearsal here, an audition here, present anything, you don't need my permission. Just do it. We'll split whatever comes in the box office. And so I had a place to try anything and to produce. So that that's sort of, when you ask how things have changed or easier, nothing could have been easier for me to try something out. And now it'll be like, we got to see where we can do things, and and we'll see. It's all, there's a lot of things. I'm probably forgetting things. And then
Well, what are you writing? Are you writing anything for theater scene? Are you still reviewing shows? Are you writing plays, stories?
Yeah. But then we get into a sacred territory that I have the superstition that if I talk about a script or play that's in the process, it'll never happen. So then I have to say, like, it's okay for me somehow in my head to talk about that album of Chip Deffaa's Down Honky Tonk Town, because it's actually being manufactured right now. So I figure, like, it's not out yet, but it's almost done, and knock wood. Right. I'm not jinxing it, I hope, even though tomorrow I may get this call from saying that the guy who was delivering the things got hit by a hit and run driver, and he's up in upstate New York with the other one recuperating. But I like to keep some of that in to like keep the it's like the, if you don't take the lid off the tea kettle, if the tea kettle won't boil if you take the lid off, so you don't want to let the steam off too early. You want to.
I get that. I absolutely get that.
So it's such a joy. You made this such a fun day. I cannot tell you, and I'm so grateful. And you get to see the first person ever see this new shirt. I said I will premiere this on the show. So.
It's a beautiful shirt. You're a beautiful person, an incredibly hardworking person, a talented person too. So remind people before we let you go, you have a website. Is it chipdeffaa.com?
Yes, with multiple F's and A's. DEFFAA.com.
Can I ask you what familially Deffaa is? What background are you? Not Jewish.
That name comes from Alsace-Lorraine, which, depending on who won what war, was once part of Germany, once part of France. But once the New York Post left an A off my name, and they wrote a Chip Deffaa with only one A at the end, and I gave my editor, Vinny Mazzetto.
Oh, yeah.
Holy hell, he was a wonderful guy. And I said, I've been writing for you for over 10 years. How could you not know how to spell Chip Deffaa? How could you leave an A off my name? And it was probably me because they print what I would type in. I probably was the one who left it off. I said, how could you possibly write Chip Deffaa, Deffa, and you owe me an A. The next day in the Post, he ran my story, my byline ran Deffaaa. He ran 3 A's to make up the one he cheated me out of the day. So I have no complaints with the Post.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Chip Deffaa, I wish you many, many more years, so many more CDs, so many more productions. Best of luck with especially with the Al Jolson thing. Please stay in touch with the Daverhood. And shalom to you.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
So, let me just get him out of here. Shalom. There we go. And in the Daverhood on this Shabbos morning with me, Rabbi Sol Solomon, on the Dave's Gone By show. Wasn't that wonderful? You have to get some of this man's albums. If you're interested at all in the Songbook of America from like 1910 or even earlier to 1930, and discovering the works of Cohen, of Berlin, of the songs that Jolie would sing, do check out the works of Chip Deffaa, Deffaa. I, of course, am Solomon, Solomon. There's no, well, the O's are repeated, but not together in there. For more about me, go to shalomdammit.com. That does have a double M. It's not the D-A-M-N, no. Double M, D-A-M-M-I-T, where you can see my show, where you can read and hear my rabbinical reflections, where there are links to the interviews that I have done on this very Dave's Gone By program. ShalomDammit.com. Well, it just remains for me to thank Chip Deffaa, to thank you for watching, to thank Dave for letting me do the interview with this wonderful, creative, bubbly man. And it remains to wish you a very happy late summer, end of August. And let's play my dancing off music, which is not George M. Cohen. It's more like George M. Cohen. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is just after 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Time, and you're watching Dave's Gone By, our 997th episode of the show, and we're calling it Fa La La in honor of our delightful guest, Chip Deffaa, in the Daverhood. If you missed it, or if you want to watch it again, or parts of it again, or tell people, hey, if you're into musical theater, if you're into cabaret, you've got to check out this interview with Chip Deffaa. Remember that within 24 hours or so, this episode will be uploaded to davesgoneby.com, where we will have it in the archives in perpetuity. We also have kept the archives on Facebook, but Facebook has now this policy of after a couple of weeks, it deletes all these old things and old videos and stuff. I guess they're running out of bandwidth. So don't trust Facebook for all the archives. You can get them at davesgoneby.com or archive.org. It's the same material, just two different websites where you can access Dave's Gone By, as well as our YouTube page called Dave's Gone By. We put all our stuff there, and in recent times it's been no problem. Our older archives on YouTube have sometimes been dinged for copyright issues when we played music and stuff. So not everything is there on YouTube, but most of it is. Plus, we have an archive at castbox.fm. So that is if you're on the go and you can't sit there and watch, like you're driving, but if you want to hear the program, you can. Download it or just stream it from castbox.fm. It's the audio of all the episodes only, going back to our very first one all the way through last week and in a few hours this week. So castbox.fm for audio archives. It's all a way of saying that there's lots and lots of ways to keep up with this program and to find out what we've been doing in the 23 years that we have been on the air in various formats and others. Well, we still have more to do on this episode of the show. We've got another hour left, and we'll use most of it, I think. How are you doing? My darling wife has rejoined us in the Daverhood.
That was a really good interview. What an interesting man.
Isn't he? Isn't he?
He has so many things. How did he do all those things?
I wish I knew. You know, I need Red Bull and Ambien and
I think Ambien makes you sleepy.
anti-Ambien.
Up and crash.
Need you smacking me in the tuchus every 20 minutes just to, get to it, you know?
They said
What?
Delta's cancels. What?
What?
Delta cancels all flights to U.S. airports in November? What?
What?
No.
I've never been a fan of Delta Airline. Is that
I
real?
don't understand this. Let's see.
Well, I can Google too. Let me just see. News of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Delta Airlines.
What are they doing?
I'm not seeing anything like that.
Oh, this U.S. city. Yes, I think it's just fake news.
No. No. Anywho, what else? Have you anything else going on in the world, my dear? Any other items of interest? What do I want to talk about? So today is part of what I have to do for the jobs that I'm doing. Not today, but this past week. I do have to talk about this aspect of it. I had to go for training to, because I'm a teacher. I am, the fallback position that Chip Deffaa was talking about of you can always be an English teacher, and then his life went in such a way that he never had to do it. I've got to do it. So I've been doing that for the past bunch of years. And, there's things that you have to go through. So I was called into an emergency preparation meeting, sort of a seminar thing of what to do if, heaven forbid, God forbid, there's a school shooter. It's like, this is the opening day of this place, of this place I'll be teaching. And the first part of it I missed. The speeches, the happy things, this is a place of learning, and we want to prepare people to be smart and good human beings and intelligent, and to know that I miss all that because I can't get there in time. But I'm there for the emergency training session, and there's a Shtaka guy who is like arms out to here, tattoos, and he's like, okay. He's very mellow. He's actually a very cool dude, but you can tell he's been military, he's been police, he has been consultant in school shootings, and he's been in what do they call armed fire situation, active shooter situations is what they're called, and they're called active shooter situations. I didn't know this. Whether it's a gun or not, even if it's a knife or any kind of weapon, they call it active shooter. So for like 75 minutes. He's telling us stuff that he could have gotten to us in like 20 of what do you do, right? What do you do? He's got a little PowerPoint thing that isn't quite working. and he, if you're ever in a situation, God forbid, whether it's in a school or a theater or something, I'm sure you can guess, common sense, run, hide, fight. Run, hide, fight. So if you can run, if there's any kind of egress or access, run. Don't run into open whatever, kind of dodge through to the side, get out, and save yourself. Before you can try and help someone else, but really just get out, save yourself. Let the professionals do what they have to do. If you can't run, hide. And, best don't hide in the middle of the room. Go to a corner, go to the side corner, because when a crazy person is walking in the room, the first thing they're seeing is what's directly in front of them, which is a more easy target than them having to turn and fire into a corner. So hide, get behind desks, barricade a door if you have to. And then if you cannot do, if this person is coming in and there's no more room to hide and you have no other option, then there's fight, right? Grab whatever you can, take whatever you can. And I will never forget, there was this old older. I mean, not old. She's probably like my age at this point. Old Jewish woman in a wig. And she's sitting there, and I love her because she's just like this balls to the wall. She's been at this place forever. And she's like, well, why if you don't have a weapon? And it's like, you find whatever it is. And he's like, it's a classroom. Well, if I have a scissor, can I gouge his eyes out? Do I go for the eyes? And I'm sitting there, and these are these people who have just been teaching. They're old Sakrachana people, a lot of them. And suddenly there's this lady who's looking after essentially children and teenagers, and she's like, if I grab a scissor, should I go for the eyes? And this Shtaka guy is like, if you can get close enough, sure, if you have to, or just stab where you can. And another guy there, he's like, well, wait, the only thing, there's a fire extinguisher outside the door. Is that a good weapon? If I grab a fire extinguisher and I hit him in the head with it. And I'm watching this, and just the miraculousness of seeing these people who are dreaming that they're going to be John Wayne, as opposed to what's really going to happen is you sit in the corner and shit yourself and hope that he's out of ammunition, right? But that was just the ultimate highlight of a rather difficult, crazy week. But I'm telling all these people, and this guy going on and on. The interesting stuff really was he had been in an active shooting situation. This man has killed people. Right? And this man that we're talking to with a very mellow, casual tone. Telling how he once had to fight a guy for 15 minutes, a brutal knockdown, drag-out fight. And the way that he finally subdued this perpetrator, this active knife guy, was punching him in the balls as hard as he possibly could, and that finally immobilized the dude. I don't know why it took him 15 minutes to realize, maybe I'll just punch him in the balls instead of going for the face, missing, getting punched in the head, punch in the chest. Just, if the balls are going to work, and that's really vulnerable, just get him right there. Could have saved himself about 12 minutes of scarring and injury. But yeah, that was a moment. Grab a scissors, go for the eyes. And there are these construction scissors too. So they would not even have pointy tips on the end of them. You're just kind of going like, doink, doink, really? Right? Anywho, and the irony that is not lost on me at all is that we had this training and it was all theoretical, and the guy is telling us, yeah, it seems like a safe campus, seems good, seems whatever, but every other day, you read about some crazy person going into a school and shooting, and wouldn't you know, 12 hours later, 15 hours later, that's when the shooting happened, I think, with Wisconsin and the Robert Westman.
If he was called to talk about it on TV and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't be sorry. He'd be a great announcer to do that. I mean, it's a great line of work for him to do, of like going into a bunch of schools now and saying, this is what happened with this guy. And, by the time you realize people are dying, there's so much you can do and so much that you cannot do. But it was kind of interesting. Like, that was a wake-up call. It really was saying, like, theoretical, yes, but this shit happens.
Labor Day party at Ace Barbecue.
Oh, hello.
At Ace Hardware Store.
Okay. I'm there because they're trying to sell grills.
I've never seen that before.
Labor Day barbecue. I assume it's outside the store.
I don't know. It didn't say that.
What are they serving?
Oh, they're selling,
Hammer steaks.
They're selling grills.
Yeah, of course. If they were selling girls, I'd get a couple, but grills. But anyway, you're watching Dave's Gone By on this Saturday, August 30th, 2025. And I've been stalling because I'm not sure where to go with it, because we still have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned and still have Friends of the Daverhood to do. But the one other thing, let's before I get to our Dave's Big Dictionary word, let's check my phlegm. Let's see, now that it's dried up a little bit, does it still look like a foot? Oh, it looks more like a foot than ever. Look at that. This has really taken the shape like of an imprint in the sand. I coughed up this phlegm about 2.5 hours ago, and we were looking at it before, and I definitely saw the shape of a foot, because you can see it going down towards the heel, and then you've got the ball of the foot down there. And it also sort of looked like Missouri, I thought, a little bit. I'm not really seeing the state much. And then if I turn it around this way, doesn't really look like anything anymore that way. So, oh, this kind of looks like a Mickey Mouse cloud. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching a show about a man who is sharing the shape of his own phlegm. And it's not a medical show. It's just a show by a person who probably should be on meds. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. Thank you for keeping tuned in to Dave's Gone By. And as I mentioned, the next segment, this coming segment right now, is called Dave's Big Dick Dictionary, because I set myself the challenge a long time ago to say, okay, find a word, a random word out of the dictionary, and then be able to talk about it in hopefully an interesting or amusing fashion for 5 minutes. Whatever comes to mind, just go, almost like free writing, free thinking, free talking, what comes out. So I've been doing it, and I rather enjoy this segment, even though my heart starts thumping a little faster to be put on the spot. Today's word for Dave's Big Dictionary is protocol. Extra, tell all about it. It's Dave's Big Dictionary. Well, protocol has come into my life a little bit this week in a couple of cases. Again, there are a lot of things I can't talk directly about, but there's also stuff that I'm dealing with, like in terms of phone calls, in terms of dealing with paperwork and family issues and stuff like that. And protocol is just sometimes making me grit my teeth, because to call any agency of any kind, whether it's a credit card company, whether it's a bank, whether it's anything, and you want to just ask a question, you want to talk to somebody, you want a clear answer to a fairly simple question. So I'm calling up a particular agency about something. I'm actually trying to remember this as we speak of what it was. And, you first are waiting on the phone. First, it's like 20 buttons, as you all know, that you have to put. For English, for Spanish, oprima el dos. I'm like, no, English, 1, thank you, okay. Now, and all this is just taking useless, wasted time out of your life if you're doing these things over and over across the course of a week or a month. And it's like, so is your issue about this or that? And you're waiting for them to read the script of the line, the digital operator. It's like, press 7. It's like, okay, I can go through 1 through 6. 7, thank you. Now, if you press 7, do you want this? This? I'm like, Jesus Christ, just get me some opera. And you start shouting into the phone, operator, agent, operator. And they always say, we can get you to an agent, but we need a little more information. It's like, it still won't take you. I'm like, we know you want an agent. We know you want to talk to a friggin' human being. However, in order for us to do that, can you select what you want to talk to the agent about? And it's like, I want to talk to the agent about suicide because I'll be dead by the time this call gets through. So, oh wow, my tinnitus just kicked in with a weird ringing thing. Whoa, that's new. Yeah, I've got like a weird tone in my ear. Yeah, it was listening to all that Jewish music. That's what did it.
Your mother heard klezmer. Remember?
Oh yeah. So tell the story then.
She heard. She would insist that there's klezmer music playing when there wasn't, and it was her ears ringing, but it was klezmer, and she heard a klezmer.
Klezmer, like either through her teeth, through her dental work, or yeah. No, me. I'm just literally. Usually, I have, and it's gotten worse. My hearing has basically stayed the same, but my tinnitus has been ratcheted up recently, which makes it much harder for me to hear things. And it's normally that digital cricket sound. Okay, now the tone went away.
If you drink, maybe you're like just
my Eustachian tubes.
Do you want tea or something? You want more something?
Maybe it's my fallopian tubes.
No, I don't think it's that.
So I finally get on the call. So now 2, 3, 4 minutes have passed where I'm waiting just to get on the phone call to talk to a person. And I get a person. And it's even a person who actually has English without much of an accent, which, especially considering my hearing, is also a huge thing. Because half the people I talk to, as you all know, are from God knows whatistan, and their English is perfectly great, but their accents make it difficult to sort of parse what they're saying as I get older. So I get a lady on the phone. I'm like this, and I give the information that they need, the social security, the zip code, so forth and so on, and again, minutes are passing just to get to the point where I can ask a generic question. Right, not something that is so detailed that it has to be the person that that they're looking to. And she's like, "No, I can't tell you." Like, what do you mean you can't tell? I'm asking a generic question about your website. If I go on this website, where can I get the information? And she's like, "No, I'm not authorized. You're not authorized to be asking." I'm like, if anybody goes on the website and they want to find where this is. Right. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the person.
Get your violin. Get your.
No, this is not sad. This is more like
Oh wait,
pointless rage and anger. I'm like, there's nothing that I'm asking you that is so proprietary, so personal, so whatever. And she's still like, "Oh, not allowed to talk to." So I was like, "Thank you, bye." At a certain point, they have the script that they have to follow where they have the last line to tell you to get off the phone. I'm like, thank you, shut up, bye.
I can't find the angry one here.
Oh, he's in there somewhere.
See what episode.
But I understand that this woman, and I am getting to my word here, is following protocol. That is her job. She'll get fired if she doesn't, literally to the letter. Well, this is not her. This is me.
And to her, the little smiley one could be her.
She wasn't a smiley woman either. There was a really nasty woman I talked to last week also. An incredibly nasty lady. And I just gave her as good as she got, But protocol, which people have to follow, and there's reasons for it. There's obvious reasons for protecting the identity of people, protecting their personal information, for sure. I absolutely honestly get that. And as you were listening to the interview with Chip Deffaa, if some of those people that he was dealing with, some of those Ganef agents that he was talking to had followed protocol, or if he had gone through his agent, who was a lawyer, and said, before I talk to these people, can you look at this, or before I even say yes to something, do you wanna? Sometimes protocol is a beautiful thing, but sometimes it can be incredibly frustrating. Like this is how things are done, but it doesn't make sense. We've been doing it this way for 30 years. This is how things are done. This is our protocol. The one thing I didn't do, and this usually spurs me on. That's why I had a rough time of it.
You didn't look up the word.
I didn't.
You didn't look up the word.
I forgot to do it, so now I'm going to do it. The word of the day
You're not
is
following your own protocol.
yes. There you go. I didn't follow my own protocol. Protocol means an original record of a document or transaction, a memorandum, a code of strict adherence to correct etiquette and precedence, and the convention for formatting electronic data. Oh, okay, got it, yeah. So, for example, Ed's actions constituted a severe breach of military protocol. And I love this stuff. This is did you know that in late Greek, and I hate late Greeks because they always come through the back door and they're eating souvlaki. In late Greek, the word protokolon, let's make it sound German, didn't I? Protokolon referred to the first sheet of paper or of a papyrus roll bearing the date of its manufacture. In some instances, it consisted of a flyleaf that was glued to the outside of a manuscript's case and provided a description of its contents. So it came from the Greek prefix proto, first, and the noun kola, glue. So protokolon gave us our word protocol, which in its original English sense, dating from the 16th century, referred to a record of a document or transaction. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it great? So that the ancient Greeks, they started a new papyrus thing, there'd be a date, there'd be this is what's in it, and now, hey, here's something, this is how you follow it. And began to be used in reference to the etiquette observed by the head of state of France in ceremonies and relations with other dignitaries. That later extended in meaning to cover any code of proper conduct. Oh, I love it. I love it. Word of the day from Merriam-Webster protocol, and that is how I covered it on this segment, Dave's Big Dictionary. Extra, tell all about it. It's Dave's Big Dictionary. Oh, and speaking of words, I didn't get to talk about this last week. So the Cambridge Dictionary came out about 2 weeks ago with new words that are officially kind of words, at least according to the Cambridge editors and the Cambridge people who put that kind of stuff. Now, you know about this because you've literally written for dictionaries about Soc and Gero and stuff like that, of doing definitional work on words. Yeah. So there are new words that have been added to the dictionary, according to Cam. One of them is tradwife.
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
You've heard it because they come into the vernacular.
Yeah,
so what is tradwife actually like? Was it like when Hillary Clinton was asked to bake cookies or something?
It's like this movement of women who are observing a more traditional way of traditional gender roles.
Traditional gender, the tradwife. Mm-hmm. But you're not going to believe, oh yes. Ladies.
Totoro? Toto?
No.
Flush?
What do we see when we go to like Target, and particularly Target? They have actually accepted the word, which is a nonsense word, skibbity. Skibbity is now a word.
I still don't know what it means, to be quite frank.
It never meant anything.
But
it wasn't supposed to mean anything.
Supposed to mean?
Just something you say. Something, a man who comes, you ever see these things, the toys? The man's head comes out of the toilet, and it's skibbity, skibbity toilet. This is now a thing. The word has gone viral. It never had a meaning. Let me see. Actually, I wonder if I can get the Cambridge Dictionary online. Let's see if I can get to it. Cambridge Dictionary. Oh, it's a weird website they've got. Let's just hit dictionary. Okay. This is why people don't use the Cambridge English. Here it is. Thank you very much. Skibbity. It's an adjective. Humorous slang. It's considered slang. A word that can have different meanings, such as cool or bad, and can be used with no real meaning as a joke.
I don't get it.
Here's an example. Skibbity, skibbity, skibbity. A boy of around 7 sang to himself as he dribbled a soccer ball. If he's dribbling a soccer ball, he needs to go with dentist.
That's a filler word.
That's exactly what it's a filler word.
What does it mean as an adjective? I want to understand it.
Well, what the skibbity are you doing?
But that's a noun.
That's a noun. Yeah, I know.
To me, that's a noun. I don't know much about language, but...
So, dude, you watch that, but what was the most skibbity part? Adjective.
Yeah, but the other one was a noun.
In the viral song, the words, "You're so pretty," were replaced by "You're so skibbity."
I feel skibbity.
I feel so skibbity.
I feel skibbity and...
Oh, I got skibbity-doo-dah, skibbity-yay. My, oh my, what a skibbity-day. And then that wasn't very skibbity-riz of you.
Oh, I don't even know what those words mean, honey.
Which is funny. Literally, the first word that they have, if you're on the Cambridge Dictionary following along here, the first synonyms that or related words include, and they've written this out, a crock, in parentheses, of shit, idiom. We babble, balls, bilge, blather, doublespeak, eyewash, moonshine.
What are the other words? It was skibbity, tradwife. You said there were 4.
Oh, yeah, those are the only ones all the stories, the news stories.
Oh, okay, but I thought
the Cambridge Dictionary ad in 2025. Skip. Oh, this is the other one that you've probably heard. If you're being a little crazy or fantasizing stuff, you're Delulu.
Oh, I've heard that, but I don't like that.
He's all Delulu. And I haven't heard this one. Broligarchy.
Oh, well, like, is it like a patriarchy?
I guess it is. It's like that.
Of men?
Let's see. Let's see what they've written about it. Because this is Cambridge.org. They're actually they're showing the coverage. Oh, and they're showing the Skibbity Man. 6,000 new. These are only 4 of 6,000 new words added to the Cambridge Dictionary.
I make my own words all the time, both in English and Spanish.
I wonder what phrases like "What the skibbity are you doing?" and
I like that.
on October last year, Kim Kardashian posted a video on social media showing a necklace her daughter had given her as a birthday present, engraved with the phrase "skibbity toilet."
Did she want that gift? I hope not.
Well, it's from her daughter, so I'm sure. But the word is popular among Gen Alpha.
Oh, yeah.
That is another new dictionary edition referring to people born in the 2010s. Gen Alpha. Any of these more new words? There's Delulu. There's Tradwife. There's a woman who's posting on social media showing that she is being very traditional. Broligarchy, a small group of men in tech who are rich and powerful. The Musks, the Bezoses, those folks. Anyway, yeah. So, as a lover of language, Skibbity. You're watching Skibbity Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Skibbity Lefkowitz. This is our 997th edition. What you looking for? Oh, the potato? Of course. Potato. Here he comes. You want to come on camera for a minute?
You saw your cup.
Oh. You're right.
He thinks that's a ketchup fountain.
Ketchups! Yum, yum. Ooh, raw ketchup. Yum.
Here.
Oh, yeah. Gotta give the potato his feeding.
Yes.
Yes, the show starts with flying sloths and almost ends, we have a little time left, with the feeding of the ketchup to the potato.
He does enjoy it.
So good.
So not too much, David.
No.
Burp him.
There we go. Good boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, potato. Oh, potato. Yeah. Oh, poor potato. Here, let me use my my phlegm towel to wipe you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, we still have, speaking of disgusting things, sorry, I almost broke your toilet there.
I can get another one.
So, what was I? Oh, we still have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned to do, where we're going to Calumet, Colorado, for a horrible limerick. But before we get to that, I want to thank Chip Deffaa for being a brand new alumnus of the Daverhood. Alumni and friends of the Daverhood, we're kind of interchanging that word now. It just means that he was on this program today, just about a half hour ago. Marvelous guest. Find out more about him at chipdeffaa.com, DEFFAA.
I'll get his website and put it in.
Oh, please do, yeah, chipdeffaa.com. You can buy his CDs, of course, and get them on SoundCloud. If you don't need the hard copies that he's putting out, for sure, get him at Amazon CD Baby and places like that. And thank you to our friend Rabbi Sol Solomon, who is on shalomdammit.com and on various medications that are somehow keeping him alive after all this time. But they're just 2 of the friends or alumni of the Daverhood. We keep tabs on as many as we can, whether they've been on this program back 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 2 years ago. They're friends, they're family, and therefore we share with you the friends of the Daver. I had Vivaldi last time. Let's do some Vivaldi. Okay, thank you. Antonio Vivaldi there, a little bit to cue us in that this is time for Friends of the Daverhood, such as, we even mentioned this when we were setting up the thing for having Chip Deffaa in the Daverhood. Jason Gra, one of the most beloved of the cabaret people, he's also done theater as well, but Jason Gra now through tonight is at the Gardenia Supper Club in West Hollywood, California, and he always titles his shows such fun things. It's a Gra night for singing. So see that this evening at the Gardenia Supper Club in California over in West Hollywood. And this is way cool. Years ago, not that many years ago, we had Billy Cote, who is the lead singer, songwriter for a band called Madder Rose. And Madder Rose had hits on MTV in like the late 80s, early 90s. And then broke up and they went off to other things. And the lead female singer joined another band, I think. And Billy Cote has been working in like a school library system, university library. Well, Madder Rose has, at least for the time being, gotten back together. It's that time when, so many years have passed and now people of nostalgic generation, it's like, oh, Madder Rose, they had that great car song. And they are playing at Drumfest. And as a matter of fact, whoa, what a lineup. They're playing also with Yola Tango on the same bill. So Madder Rose and Yola Tango, and this is happening tonight in the Catskills Drum Fest. So by all means, go catch that. I want to let you know that Julie Halston and Anne Harada are in the cast of a play called Finding Dorothy Parker that they're doing various times at the Laurie Beachman Theater. The next time to see that is going to be September 2nd and 3rd. So in the middle of this week, I guess today's the 30th, 31st, 1, 2, I guess Wednesday and Thursday at the Laurie Beachman Theater in Midtown Manhattan. Tom Chapin playing Friday night at Our Times Coffee House in Garden City, New York. So all you Long Islanders who want to check out Tom Chapin, yes, he is the late Harry Chapin's brother, but he's had a musical career. His whole family has, all of his own. So check him out, Tom Chapin in Garden City. That is happening Friday night. Playing now for one more week off Broadway, there's a show called Gene and Gilda at 59E59 Theaters, and you can hear the voice of our friend Dick Cavett, the great TV host and interviewer. He's used partially on recorded audio as part of the show. It's called Gene and Gilda, about, Saturday Night Live has been in the news this week because they're just apparently having a bloodbath of cast members, as happens. So certainly Gilda was one of the most beloved and best known of all time there. And Gene Wilder's her husband, her beloved, the great Gene Wilder. Anyway, now through September 14th, a lot of things playing now through September 14th. One of them is 12th Night from Public Theater Shakespeare in the Park, featuring our friend Daphne Rubin Vega. Now through September 14th, Randy Packer, the director of the high school show I was in. Randy Packer is directing Fiddler on the Roof at the Players Theater in Conroe, Texas. Now through September 14th, Hershey Felder wrote and stars in Rachmaninoff and the Tsar. That's in Glencoe, Illinois at the Writers Theater. And now through September 14th, a fellow alumnus from much later years, Linda Livingston, is in the show Bloomsday, playing at Namba Arts in Ventura, California. Now, going back to New York, Aladdin is on Broadway and features music by Alan Menken. Little Shop of Horrors is off Broadway, featuring music by Alan Menken. Michael Garin plays piano at the Roxy Hotel Tuesday through Saturday evenings. And speak of the devil, Chip Deffaa was talking about these folks. Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks play 2 sets both nights of the week. So 2 sets on Monday, 2 sets on Tuesday at Birdland, which is, of course, where Jim Caruso has his cast party every Monday night. Get your tickets at birdlandjazz.com. Evan Seplow founded and edits the New York nightlife website StageBuddy.com. David Sheward writes for TotalTheater.com, a wonderful website that I myself founded and still edit. So if you're looking for reviews of Broadway and off-Broadway shows, as well as shows from around the country, try TotalTheater.com and look for David Sheward's reviews there. And as a matter of fact, I mentioned earlier, Jeff Ross's Broadway show, Take a Banana for the Ride. David Sheward's review of that show just went up a day or two ago on TotalTheater.com. Letting you know that Vicky Quaddy does her shows out in Chicagoland, including Late Night Catechism and Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun? And Charlie Gross and Leslie Hobank Blake do Two on the Aisle on YouTube. And let's find one more. How about, we mentioned this last time. Ann Arbor, that's her stage name. Nina Price is her name, but if you look for her on KFJC Radio in Los Altos Hills, California, been there for many years and still doing her show there, Ann Arbor. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Go, Vivaldi! The beauty, the elegance, the precision, the protocol of poetry. That's what we're going to be talking about next, ladies and gentlemen, because pretty much every show that we've been doing for years now, we do all the fun things. We've had a wonderful interview with Chip Deffaa. We've had Rabbi Sol Solomon doing his thing. We've had phone calls from the Greeley Tribune, Greeley Times. We've talked about the word protocol in terms of Dave's Big Dictionary. I talked about an emergency procedure thing that I had to go to. We've just done so much today, ladies and gentlemen. But the one thing we haven't done yet, and should I show my bunion? Should we do bunion? No, we'll say bunion. We've had my old phlegm already, so I think my old phlegm and bunion watch in the same show, that's just gilding the lily. But we can't get away from doing our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. My wife and I lived in northern Colorado for about well over a decade. And while we were there, I got it into my head to start writing a poem about every place I could think of or every place on the map in the beautiful, wonderful state of Colorado. Whether it's a big, big city, a small town, a suburb, or even a neighborhood or a ghost town that no longer exists. If I could get a name of a place, a real place in Colorado, and rhyme it 3 times, and make the rhyme kind of sick, tasteless, disgusting, and hopefully a little bit funny, well, ladies and gentlemen, my work is done. So, I've done it again. I've been doing this for years and years, every week, bringing you a brand new Colorado Limerick of the Damned. And this week, we go to a place called Calumet, Colorado. Now, I know you've never heard of it, and nobody said it hasn't been around in 50 years, but it did exist. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Calumet, Colorado, and then read the poem.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme, and likewise verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain,
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Colorado, Rado, to there we go for our weekly Limerick of the Damned. And as I mentioned, we're going to Calumet, Colorado. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's an extinct coal mining town in south central Colorado, or it was in south central anyway. It was, they had a mining site there in the early 1900s, and it was actually a relatively small coal mine, but it was very productive. It just got a ton out of it. And it was named, the town was named after a ceremonial Indian pipe called the Calumet. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew that the white people would come in there and be so wonderful to the Indians that they want to name the town after the Indian peace pipe? So it goes. Kaiser Steel, as opposed to Kaiser Soze, Kaiser Steel, the company, managed the town from the mid-1920s through 1971, when they kind of, drifted off. Weirdly enough, if you've heard of Calumet, Colorado, which no longer exists and hasn't for years, it's because the town took on a whole unrelated and fictional identity with a 1984 movie, Red Dawn. So Red Dawn, this movie, invented a new idea of the town of Calumet, Colorado, as a sort of any town, nondescript, wherever USA, called Calumet. Ironically, oddly enough, the film itself was shot in New Mexico to look like Colorado for a fictional place that doesn't even exist anymore, that never existed. So there's your story of what Calumet. So if I can make a disgusting, horrible little poem about Calumet, I'm not actually offending anybody except fans perhaps of the film Red Dawn about the fictional Calumet, Colorado. But let's just say I mean the real one. Ahem, ahem, ahem. What pleasures and gaieties shall you get when you come next weekend to Calumet? The last time you showed, you shat in the road and finger-fucked every fast gal you met. Kindly send your comments, opinions, and complaints to davesgoneby@aol.com. Davesgoneby, there's the V in there for my name, davesgoneby@aol.com. I read every email that I get. I don't necessarily have time to answer them. And plus, you can certainly post your messages, your thoughts, your comments, your thumbs up and emojis right on our Facebook page just by either messaging me there directly or, of course, you can post things under our shows. But it's all there. davesgoneby@aol.com. We also have a Twitter feed, an X feed, Radio Dave 2. Got the Instagram page. I think I finally wrote down what the Instagram is. Did I? I thought I did. Yes, David.Lefkowitz. There you go. That's my Instagram. David.Lefkowitz. It's always the same thing. I'm just promoting next week's show. So your best place to honestly start is davesgoneby.com. We even have a Blue Sky account, just in case I reach some more people by letting them know, hey, Chip Deffaa's on this week's episode. But the real place to start is davesgoneby.com and our Dave's Gone By Facebook page for the information about shows, for the archives, for photographs, for who's going to be on upcoming episodes. Those are the best places to really start your Dave's Gone By Daverhood journey. And what else do I need to tell you? Remind you again that TotalTheater.com is the website that I run of theater reviews from all over the country, but particularly of New York and, Los Angeles, Chicago, places like that. Check it out. Also, check out DaveLefkowitz.org. That is the website of my writing, not of the archives of this radio program. That's where if I've done a verbal interview with somebody for like Long Island Pulse magazine, late lamented, or Long Island Woman magazine, which is still alive and wonderful, or back when I was writing for Playbill, or back when I wrote for Theater Week, I have tons of theater reviews. If you want to surf my words, not as they're kind of flowing out of my head, but as I've put them through the protocols of editing and revising and thinking, DaveLefkowitz.org is the best place for that. Well, my friends, it is about 10 to noon Eastern Time here in the Daverhood on this Saturday, August 30th, 2025. We've called this episode Fa La La in honor of our Chip Deffaa La La fine guest. Go to his website, chipdeffaa.com, to find out all about his CDs and his other projects. Let's see, anything else on that we have to talk about or get to, or that is, imminent or something that can't wait until next week? I'm guessing that we will be on next Saturday, same time, same morning, unless I'm completely distraught and a madman and then just overburdened with work, which is possible. But I don't know. I'm guessing, I'm hoping that we will have next Saturday our 998th episode.
Wow.
Getting there. We're getting there.
Close.
Of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful, amazing wife. Want to wish you all a thoughtful Labor Day, a happy, what do you wish people on Labor Day?
Rest.
Most people work on Labor Day.
Rest. You wish people rest or paid overtime.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Some places are closed, some places are open. Floating holiday, and some places don't pay attention to it all. Which I guess, you should probably be working on Labor Day. It's not called Rest Day. It's not called Sleep Until 11 a.m. Day. Where's that holiday, I want to know. So do try to have an enjoyable Labor Day. And, I guess maybe appreciate the workforce. I make fun of and get angry at people whose jobs make my life annoying because they're annoying or they're following protocols. But any job, I don't care if you are just hired to sit there at a desk and wait for a phone to ring, and you don't do anything for that hour except surf your phone and read a book and listen to music on headphones. If you're physically there and waiting for the call to ring, so if a call comes in, you take it and you do what you have to do, you should be paid. You should be paid reasonably well because they're taking your hour. That is your time. That is your life that you are giving to someone else.
Oh, God.
It's true. People, talk about minimum wage and minimum wage workers. Well, they're just flipping burgers. They're just pulling pints in pubs. They're just doing fast food. It's an old squeeze line. But it's sort of like, what are they doing? Don't need education for that. Yeah, they're working fucking harder than some guy sitting in a desk chair, middle management meeting half the day, right? Not that, but he's working hard too. Even if he's not working hard, he's there having to deal. Only time when you could make a kind of an argument was maybe during COVID, when people were home and being paid to work, and they would make 45 minutes out of the day. And it'd sort of be available, but they were home. They could watch a movie, they could have lunch, they could run around the block and then do a little work and take a phone call. In that case, I could understand management going, you are sort of on your own time most of that time. But if you're physically somewhere, or at the beck and call, or you're sitting there, even in your home, with a headset on, having to deal with whatever you have to deal with, you're working. And you deserve a decent living, reasonable wage in this world. God forbid you should get decent benefits. God forbid you should get dental and vision and whatever else, and 401k and TIA cref. And God, heaven forfend. But anywho, that's my thought about labor. I'm generally pro-union, although unions to date have really done shit for me personally whenever I've asked for their help. But the idea of unions, I still kind of believe in. Believe in the working person. And if you are a working person, or if you were for many years a working person, and you're praying that Social Security doesn't go away, I pray for that too. Anyway, have a great rest of your weekend. Have a fine Labor Day and a fine Labor weekend, Labor month, and Labor, especially if you're going to labor. Certainly, I wish you very, very good luck if you're laboring, unless you're making a baby Hitler, in which case, push it in, let it marinate a little more, and maybe we'll get the bad juices out of it. I don't know, I'm babbling. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. This has been Dave's Gone By and Gone By.
Dave's gone by. Dave's gone by. Dave's gone by.
3 full hours, and my phlegm still looks like a foot. I am talented.